up, Woodward. We are starting off your day with a brand new crew. Meet Broder.
I can't control my arms sometimes. My limbs are just kind of flying.
Detroit Kool-Aid.
Fired up!
Y'all got Kool-Aid hot.
Fired up! But with the Wake Up Woodward crew, he's actually a part of the family.
Flannel Sam.
Ask me about my wiener. Okay.
Along with JB and KG. Wake Up Woodward gets you all of your Detroit sports talk. Every morning, 8 to 10 a.m. Live on Woodward Sports. A show for Detroit, by Detroit, with people from Detroit. Tell Siri to set an alarm, because it's time to Wake Up Woodward.
What up, though, people? Thank you guys for choosing to kick off the day with Wake Up Woodward, and it is the morning after the Super Bowl. And talk about a lopsided Super Bowl. I don't know if anyone saw that on the way, but hey, thank you guys for choosing to kick off the day with the WUW Crew. We're live at Feldman Chevrolet of Novi. It is Michigan's #1 Chevy dealer, and all they do is win, no matter what. They got three-peats.
Yes. Unfortunately, the Chiefs were not able to get a three-peat last night, and it's so bad for me that even Alex Cobb is talking shit to me in the chat. Man, I really hope that you become a valuable pitcher in the rotation for the Tigers this year, but you're taking your time to talk shit to me. That's all well and good. I appreciate it, Alex Cobb.
As you guys know, one of Flannel's other teams is the Kansas City Chiefs, a team that he's enjoyed seeing them have a lot of success. And last night, Patrick Mahomes had an opportunity, and the Chiefs really to step into some type of rarefied air while Tom Brady was overlooking everything. If I'm Patrick Mahomes, I don't want him calling my next Super Bowl game. That's just me, man. The mojo was just different. But it's your boy Brandon Day, K Detroit Kool-Aid, your credential Pistons reporter and writer for the network, Flannel Sam, Red Wings correspondent, all sports knower. And today, today, guys, let this guy know how you feeling about that game. 40-22, and really it wasn't even that close. And in Flannel, like, as we get into the game, this really was just a tale of two sides. Philly won this thing in the trenches, both ways. The broadcast was able to highlight the 6'6", 315-pound-plus offensive line for Jalen Hurts. And then on the other side, their defensive line is sending 4. And it was just absolutely nothing that the Chiefs could do. And it was one quarterback who looked comfortable, one quarterback who was just under duress.
Yeah, I mean, the Eagles' best O-line in the league this year, even above the Lions, and the D-line, even though I don't necessarily think it was the best in the league, it certainly played like it in the playoffs, and certainly yesterday. But before we get into all of that, I know what you guys all want. I see you guys in the chat. I saw you guys in
what they want, Flannel.
I saw you in the watch party chat last night. Obviously, I fielded that call from Stick, but yeah, Patrick Mahomes was terrible. He choked. He did. It was a 10-0 game, and his pick six, and then his pick that gave the Eagles a short field touchdown made it an insurmountable lead at halftime. So there's nothing I can really say about it. It was a terrible performance from him. And if you want to talk about his place in the GOAT conversation, that was really bad for him last night. I'll just say that. I still think that he's third all-time right now, but he's certainly got a lot of work to do if he wants to get back into that conversation.
Definitely, man. There was a lot of legacies and narratives that were decided for this season, and honestly, it's exciting. The NFL is exciting, and obviously with our team being in the mix and going to have an opportunity to be in the mix, as it's the Detroit Lions, it makes it that much more, honestly, infuriating watching that game of what could have been. But chat family, I need you guys to make sure that you are getting those slings and those arrows ready for one Mr. Flannel Sam. And I'm seeing a couple people already in there. ADIS411 is saying Flannel's wearing Mahomes' shirt underneath.
Not true. that is erroneous. Erroneous on all counts.
Hey, you know what? Shout out, though, man, to the most elite booth in the game today. They're just in the space. Shout out to KG. Detroit's #1 draft pick, holding it down on sounds. And we got JB Smooth, WUW Sports MVP on TD. What up, though, fellas, man? 40-22. This was BTA.
This was an ass whooping of epic proportions. Epic, man.
I really couldn't believe what I was watching. You almost felt bad for the Chiefs at a certain point last night, man. It was just crazy to see that Patrick Mahomes could not do anything, man. That Eagles pass rush, and I hope Lions fans, I hope the organization took notes. That's the type of pass rush that we need in order to win a Super Bowl, man. If we can get something like that going here in Detroit, we will be scary, because what the Eagles did, it was kind of very similar to what Lions football has been most of the year, at least in terms of me. The only difference is they have a mobile quarterback, but just the way they executed, man, like you said, offensive line absolutely mauled, defensive line. Patrick Mahomes could do nothing. He tried to step up in the pocket and break through the middle. That wasn't a wise decision. He was getting caught up all night, really couldn't do anything, didn't have more than 2 seconds to throw the football. It was just a masterclass, bro. And unfortunately, we got to give Nick Sirianni some credit, bro.
Thank you.
We got to put some respect on his name.
And I'm glad that and
just
this
got
is
to be real about it.
I'm so happy that you said that. And I'm no Nick Sirianni fan. I've given him a lot of crap over, especially last year, for how they fell apart. It seemed like he was very coordinator dependent, but the reality is they made good coordinator hires, and now he's a Super Bowl champion winning head coach. That's something that you can never take away from him. You might not like his personality. You might not like the fact that he, up to this point, was more known for his antics, yelling at the crowd or fans, than being a head coach. But when you're a Super Bowl winning head coach, that is the type of company that puts you in the likes of guys like Bill Walsh and Bill Belichick and Andy Reid and whatnot. I'm not saying that he's on those guys' level, but when you win a Super Bowl as a head coach, that is one of the greatest accomplishments that you can have, especially in Philadelphia, only their second in franchise history. Unbelievable. Shout out Nick Sirianni. You will not hear any slander, Nick Sirianni slander from me, at least throughout the offseason and probably throughout all of next year.
Yeah, definitely, man. And that was one thing when I was watching last night, and I was just like, man, Nick Sirianni is just a good coach, man. He's a really good coach, man. One of the obviously with a Super Bowl now, he's going to be stamped as one of the best in the NFL. But I saw a lot of good things that relate to our team, too, and I know we're going to talk about it as well. I know one of the things everybody instantly goes to is that defensive line and that rush. This is something we can replicate, and, when healthy, it's something that is attractive, but, the other question is, you got to do more. But I know we're going to talk a little bit about that. I see some people in the chat, too, talking about the Super Bowl commercials and all of that type of stuff. Did you have a favorite last night?
No, I was kind of just not happy throughout the whole night. You know what's funny? Because logically, and let's just all be adults here. What Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs have accomplished in the last 6 seasons, 3 Super Bowls, Patrick Mahomes having 3 Super Bowl MVPs, all of that is amazing. That cannot be taken away from him. However, I was a lot more upset with last night than I thought that I would be, because it's like, okay, yeah, he's got three Super Bowl MVPs in 7 seasons as a starter still, 2 regular season MVPs. But with how bad it looked last night, with how bad he performed, I mean, he's getting it front ways, sideways, through the back, everywhere this morning.
You know what?
And he shouldn't get as much as he is, but he was awful in this game. There's nothing redeeming about how he played. I understand that he was under duress all game, but you still have to make smarter decisions. You can't make that throw that Cooper DeJean picked off. You can't just just make a little weak throw when you're under pressure that Zach Bond was able to pick off.
It was uncharacteristic, honestly. I was looking at, this is Patrick Mahomes, and then I was like, oh, this is what a defensive rush looks like.
Yeah, his team wasn't helping him either. Travis Kelce, where the hell was he?
Drops.
I mean, you saw drops
running
from D-Hop. When does that even happen?
But that's the thing. That's another one where Travis Kelce, he's going to get it from every angle too. But just what he's accomplished and what Patrick Mahomes have accomplished as a duo in pretty much ever since Patrick Mahomes got into the NFL, we can't just forget about that and pretend that it didn't happen, while also acknowledging that maybe Travis Kelce is on the back 9 and Patrick Mahomes had the worst day of his career in a bad moment to have the worst day of your career.
And let's be honest, Travis Kelce had some other things on his mind.
Maybe he did.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Yeah.
That proposal he was about to do to Taylor Swift, we'll say one.
And you know what, man, and sorry to have to even bring this up, JB Smooth, but Flannel said something that I actually connect with, and that's being hurt by a game more than you thought you would be, especially when it's not your own team. Y'all know how I feel about LeBron James. I definitely tip the cap to his talent. He's probably the most talented NBA, the most talented hooper of ever to ever grace this earth. I still don't like him. I don't care. Right?
fair.
At least you gave him proper credit.
And I was, bro, man, when he was, like you talked about how, they were tossing Patrick Mahomes this way and that way and sideways. Bro, when LeBron James finally got that championship over Steph Curry and the Warriors, and he was doing it like in a physical brand of basketball, I was just sitting there hurting. Steph Curry was getting knocked out. I'm like, no. I'm like, wait, why do I care about this so much? But I was hurt, bro, when they lost that finals. And I relate in that regard, man. I have never been a fan of the Warriors, but obviously Kid Kool-Aid, his connection to one of the shoe designers and all that, he was a fan of Steph Curry. And so I kind of I realized maybe that's where it came from. But I relate, man.
Yeah, it's unfortunate for me, but both things can be true. I still think Mahomes is objectively the third greatest quarterback of all time after Brady and Montana, but he had an opportunity to do something special and have a special performance and have 3 consecutive Super Bowl MVPs and a three-peat, and it just didn't happen. And I honestly think that he was the biggest reason why they didn't win. That was what was so unexpected. Those back-to-back picks that put the game out of reach were just unacceptable. No matter how much duress you're under, you can't do that. Who is he trying to throw the ball to when DeJean got that?
I have no idea.
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
No idea.
I looked at the replay when they played it back, and I'm just like, good job, Cooper, to be in the position and to execute it and actually make the catch. But I had no idea. And then they showed it from the vantage point where you can see Mahomes' face too. I don't know what he was doing. Like, even his feet were getting tangled up. And to me, it's just, bro, just take the sack at that point in time.
He was lucky that I have 2 pick sixes. C.J. Gardner-Johnson almost had a pick six.
That was a free play.
And I know y'all
that was a free play.
I was wondering if we were going to get through the first segment without saying his name.
Fans perked up when that happened, when that flag came out.
Oh, my God. It was a free
Triggered
play.
everybody.
It was literally a free play. And we're acting.
you just
Oh,
triggered
my
flannel.
goodness, bro. It was a free
It wasn't
play.
I get it, but it wasn't a good throw.
You know what I'm proud of?
It was a microcosm. It was a microcosm of the whole night. It was a microcosm of the whole night.
Golly. You know what I'm proud of, though? Detroit sports fans. Because you know what I keep seeing in the chat? Pistons won. Pistons won again. Hey, talk about the Pistons. I'm telling you, hey, Flannel, tell the people what's on the rest of the menu today, including the next one where we're talking about Jalen Hurts and the rest of it.
Oh, yeah. So we're going to – I think it's time we give the proper respect to the quarterback on the other side last night. And, of course, we're going to talk about – get into more detail on how Philadelphia's D-line just manhandled the Chiefs' offensive line in a way that I didn't think that they'd be able to, because the Chiefs' O-line was actually healthy. And, of course, we got to get to those Detroit Pistons, who had themselves a heck of a weekend, going 2-0. One of those games just beating the piss out of Philly without Cade Cunningham, which I didn't think was possible. We love that. And then getting the first action of Cade and Dennis Schroeder on Sunday's game. Good weekend for the Pistons. Better weekend for the Pistons than it was for me and my side pieces when it comes to sports. I'll just say that.
You know what we were looking forward to, man? One of the first questions I asked JB Bickerstaff was, hey, how do you want to see them effectively what's the fit with Dennis Schroeder? And he basically answered part of the question that I didn't ask. I was going to ask that follow, but he said, you know what, he could play alongside Cade. And when we saw those minutes in the fourth quarter, their first 2 plays, Schroeder assists to Cade, and then the next play, Cade assists to Schroeder. So it's just
and
like,
those
you know
were
what?
some big-time buckets. We'll get into it.
I'm sorry.
We'll get into it.
Let's say what up, though, to some friends.
Absolutely. I will tell you first about Planet Fitness, where I'm going to have to work out some of my rage from last night, because I will not crash out on this show. It will not happen.
You technically already
did.
Oh,
come on.
You technically did already.
Acting like a free play interception was the same thing. It was actually a pick six.
I know how to push
a pick six, right?
I know how to push the bus.
Christ. Oh, yeah.
No, the refs did a heel turn on Patrick Mahomes last night.
That was good.
They went heel on Patrick, dog. All my wrestling fans don't know what I'm talking about. Oh, my God.
You like this? You going to turn on me?
James, get back here.
You going to do this to me?
It's Planet Fitness, where your fitness is essential. They've got over 50 plus.
My boy hurt. Dog.
Holiday.
Hey, I'm here. There is no holiday. JB, stop it. Nonsense. There is no holiday.
Flannel gonna beat the
No
allegations.
holiday.
He
I'm
gonna
right
beat
here.
him.
I'm right here. I don't take holidays when players that I like lose. There is no holiday. Why'd you bring that up, JB?
Bro, did Flannel just get on his Anthony Davis? I am here. Hey. Shout out to you, Flannel.
Why did you come back after 2 weeks from a groin strain? Stay out until after the All-Star break. Anywho, it's Planet Fitness.
Oh,
Where your fitness is essential.
Feldman hate us.
They got over 50-plus Metro Detroit locations, and they have the cheapest memberships at only $15 a month, or you can upgrade to the Black Card and pay only $24.99 per month and get access to all of the extra amenities, including the ability to go to any Planet Fitness across the world. No matter where you are, there's a Planet Fitness nearby. Join today in club or online. It's Planet Fitness, where your fitness
Smash
is
that
essential.
like button.
Feldman Chevrolet, Michigan's #1 Chevy dealer, is kicking off the game with the best prices on all cars, trucks, and SUVs, like this 2024 Silverado for just $296 a month, or this 2025 Equinox for as low as $371 a month. Our locations in Novi, Highland, New Hudson, Livonia, and Lansing means we have the perfect Chevy right in your backyard. Get the home team advantage every day at Feldman Chevrolet, Michigan's #1 Chevy dealer. No one gives away more cash and prizes than Woodward Sports. You don't believe us? Here's our latest $10,000 winner.
You know, you guys posted, hey, if you guess all this stuff right, we'll give it's $10,000. I'm like, okay, well, why the hell not?
And the winning doesn't stop there. How about our Outkick Your Coverage winner?
I think you won.
This guy's got a hot girl.
Bigger prizes, bigger giveaways, cash, merch, tickets, and more. All from the biggest sports network in Detroit. No one does it bigger and better than Woodward Sports. Make sure you're following, liking, subscribing on Instagram, Facebook, X, and YouTube for your chances to share in the winning. From Detroit's #1 sports network, Woodward Sports.
Walk into any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men today. Open 7 days a week. Sit back, relax, and enjoy precision haircut, scalp massage, hot leather neck shave, and hot towel treatment from one of our talented stylists. Step up your game this season and take advantage of our $20 haircut special. Scan the QR code and get your coupon today. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, the ultimate haircut experience. Open 7 days a week. Walk-ins always welcome. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. It's wicked awesome.
Head to WoodwardSports.com and click on Shop. Get the latest in Detroit sports apparel and exclusive Woodward Sports gear. WoodwardSports.com can get the whole team outfitted. Love the Pistons, Red Wings, and Tigers? We got something for you, too. Shop online at WoodwardSports.com.
Hey. Oh, guys. It's a stick bomb, bro. As soon as the freaking read is ready, then here he goes dropping something. I'm just laughing. All right. Fuel your Detroit sports fandom with the perfect cup and make sure that you're ordering Sabbath coffee. Listen, Sabbath coffee, it's the way to get your morning started alongside Woodward Sports and the Wake Up Woodward Crew. I need you guys to go to www.sabbathcoffeeroasters.com and make sure when you select your favorite roast that you're using code Woodward to get 25% off your first subscription order. So wake and unwind and enjoy every day, especially game day, right, with Sabbath Coffee Roasters. Hey, and what up, though, people? We are back live at Feldman Chevrolet of Novi. This Michigan's #1 Chevy dealer. We know that they won last night. Can't say the same thing for the Chiefs. I am sorry, Flannel Sam. Obviously, this is something you're probably going to deal with all day. But shout out to Jalen Hurts, MVP, Super Bowl MVP, Jalen Hurts.
Quarterback.
He has a great birthday as well. He shares that birthday with another great person as well out there. We won't point at anybody. But August 7th, he's a Leo. So shout out to one Jalen Hurts on really a masterful game. And when you look at this thing, he didn't get a whole lot from one Saquon Barkley, who was your offensive player of the year in the NFL. But Jalen Hurts, 11 carries for 72 yards and a touchdown, as well as 17 to 22 through the air, 221 yards, 2 touchdowns, and a pick. And with Jalen Hurts, he was only sacked 2 times for 11 yards in comparison to 6 times for 31 yards with Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, I think it's a time today where everybody, myself included, give a lot of flowers to Mr. Jalen Hurts. I understand that when you isolate this season up until the Super Bowl, that the offense was more about Saquon than Jalen Hurts. But when you just look at everything that Hurts has accomplished in the NFL since he's been a starter, I think you have to call him a top 5 quarterback in the NFL right now. I mean, he was second in MVP voting in 2022. Since 2021, he has the most rushing touchdowns of any player in the NFL, one above Derrick Henry. I know you want to say tush pushes, but now he's a Super Bowl MVP, so obviously that stuff works. And his average season since 2021, and this is just a regular season stuff, 33 touchdowns accounted for, 11 turnovers. I'm not saying that he's the best quarterback in the NFL or that you should put him in errors that he doesn't belong in, but I think top 5 is a pretty good spot for him right now because of what he's done. And oh, by the way, 2 excellent Super Bowl performances. He was great against the Chiefs their first time around when the Chiefs beat him, and then yesterday, 303 total yards accounted for, 3 touchdowns, 1 turnover, Super Bowl MVP. Jalen Hurts deserves his flowers today.
He definitely does. And, all across the Detroit sports chat, everybody is just talking about this is what we need, this is what we need. And you got the other half that's saying, no, Jared Goff is enough, Jared Goff is enough. And it was interesting to see all of the different takes from at least the Detroit Lions world, because that's how everybody was viewing this game. 1, like Terry Arnold said, everyone believed we should have been there. 2, everybody believed now. As I had to update even my expectations, did the Lions have enough to get there? Yes, but then you see how much more you needed to actually win that thing, man. And it was interesting to see how the different conversations lit up in comparison and contrast to the Lions, and starting with that quarterback position, which is going to be one of your more important. And Jalen Hurts, without the, Saquon Barkley, which, the Chiefs had a good game plan for him, they just couldn't do anything to realistically stop or slow down Jalen Hurts, who seemed to just have a game in his control.
Yeah, and in his entire playoff career, 20 touchdowns accounted for, only 4 turnovers. He's a great quarterback. I think at this point you have to call him what he is, one of the best in the NFL. Even though, as I said, for this season, if you want to isolate this season, it was more about Saquon. But when the lights are the brightest, he shows up. He shines his most. And when you really look at what he's done in the regular season, he's been one of the better quarterbacks in the NFL from the moment he stepped onto the starting field in 2021. Not, like I said, he's not Mahomes, he's not Allen to me, or Burrow or Lamar, but he's in that very next tier of guys where that would be, you'd include with like Jaden Daniels and Goff, in my opinion.
Definitely. And one of the things that I thought he navigated really, really well this season was all of the noise surrounding A.J. Brown, including like the teammates and things like that, going out there and former players and media and everybody kind of putting their business out there. And Jalen Hurts, what I saw was him really kind of double down and be like, no, this is mine, though. Like, anybody got anything to say? He pulled out the chain. He was just on a completely different wavelength. And so it's like where he might lack compared to some of those guys that you might put 1, 2, or 3, from a leadership standpoint and from an aspect of really being able to galvanize that team, get above the noise, because it wasn't perfect in that locker room. Yeah. That, to me, is where I look at Jalen Hurts and I say, you know what, man, I see something a little bit more than just kind of what we normally see out of these guys, which helps me elevate him a little bit higher than where other people might. Like with Jared Goff, there are some intrinsic things there that I say, you know what, because of his IQ, because of more times than not his precision and his ability to play clean football and his ability to game manage, I do elevate him. And we saw how that played out this year, and he got a top 5 nod in the MVP race. And with the Jalen Hurts, those are some of the things. When I looked at how he navigated that locker room, because I thought that was going to be dysfunction. When I first saw that as a Lions fan, I said, oh, great. This team is going to fall apart. We saw them do this already. We saw them last year fall apart. But this year, for some reason, in comparison to last year, they were able to, honestly, not just keep stride, but still be one of the best teams in all of the NFL. And, yeah, we took the captain Saquon Barkley, but I do believe Jalen Hurts as that leader is a big reason why they were able to get there.
Oh, yeah, he's one of the best leaders in the NFL. I mean, you've seen it back from his days in college. I know everybody talks about it, how he was benched at halftime of the NCAA championship game, and rightfully so, by the way, because Tua came in and actually won them that game. But the class that he showed and the fact that he was able to transfer to Oklahoma, put up better numbers than he ever had at Alabama, be second in the Heisman, get drafted, take the starting job from Carson Wentz, and pretty much never look back, and now he's a Super Bowl MVP. It's quite the story. And honestly, I should have realized this more at the time, but the A.J. Brown stuff, it should have always been much ado about nothing, because what's A.J. Brown put up over 1,000 yards in 13 games. What was he ever complaining about? But it doesn't matter anymore.
Nope.
They're Super Bowl champions, and A.J. Brown was just as happy as everybody else with the confetti raining down on him.
He complained during the Super Bowl.
I know
he was asking for more targets, and then what they do, they got him a touchdown. So, man, the ability for Nick Sirianni to be able to manage that locker room, and, considering how they finished last year, and we all saw the collapse, after, he had a shift in coordinators. You get Matt Patricia on the back end of that season, and they just had a collapse of epic proportions.
I thought we were headed there this year, too.
Yeah, you got to give Nick Sirianni his credit, being able to come back, and now you're looking up 2 Super Bowls in the last 3 years, man, and you go cash one in. You got to give him his props, bro.
Can I say one thing, though, about Nick Sirianni? And it will be a Nick Sirianni slobberfest all offseason because he's earned it. I still think it's odd that Big Dom, everywhere Nick Sirianni goes, Big Dom goes, like his handler.
It's a marketing strategy.
You don't see that with
security,
Andy Reid or Dan Campbell, or you didn't see it with Belichick or anything like that. It's just Big Dom. Nick Sirianni is an emotional basket case, but he's also proving to be a damn good head coach. So shout out to him. It's just odd to me.
Hey, and I'm seeing a bunch of people in the chat as well. Some people want us to talk golf in comparison to Jalen Hurts. I listen, we all know what it is. Play clean football like he did last year. You give this Lions team an opportunity to overcome even some of the injuries. But to me, this was more about that defensive line. The injuries, but especially the defensive line. And we got to talk about it because what the Eagles did last night to make a future Hall of Fame quarterback in Patrick Mahomes that uncomfortable, that's a recipe for success. And you looked at the other side of it, they couldn't do anything realistically to make Jalen Hurts feel uncomfortable. And it looked like a replay, honestly, of the Commanders and the Lions game. So, we definitely got to get into it, man. Let's say what up, though, to some friends, though.
You want to do Mark White?
Hey, Mark White, if you use them for your home buying needs, they will pay up to $5,000 of your closing costs. That is right, $5,000. If you're dreaming of a new home but feeling the financial pinch, that is what Mark White is there for. Give them a call or visit their website at markwhitesells.com.
How do people feel about getting a Planet Fitness membership for $15 a month? How do they like working out in a clean and spacious gym that's filled with equipment for every workout? And how about free fitness training in the judgment-free zone that leaves them feeling energized all day long? Join Planet Fitness today with the free PF app, online or in club, and start getting that big fitness energy for $15 a month.
Big injuries, big news. Twice a week, Dr. Jeff Pierce from Michigan Sports and Spine joins Woodward Sports Network for the Injury Insider Report. Big D Energy Tuesdays at noon, and Ermanni and Edwards with Maz Thursdays at 3:30. Get expert analysis and in-depth breakdowns on the latest sports injuries from the man trusted by top athletes in the community, like D-Mac. Whether it's the Lions, Pistons, Tigers, or Red Wings, Dr. Pierce talks us through it all. Don't miss the Injury Insider Report with Dr. Jeff Pierce, your go-to source for understanding the impact of injuries on the games and players we love. Only on Woodward Sports Network. Scan the QR code on the screen or go to MichiganSportsandSpine.com to see if Dr. Jeff Pierce can help you.
Feldman Chevrolet, Michigan's #1 Chevy dealer, is kicking off the game with the best prices on all cars, trucks, and SUVs, like this 2024 Silverado for just $296 a month, or this 2025 Equinox for as low as $371 a month. Our locations in Novi, Highland, New Hudson, Livonia, and Lansing means we have the perfect Chevy right in your backyard. Get the home team advantage every day at Feldman Chevrolet, Michigan's #1 Chevy dealer.
Detroit has the best sports fans in the world. That's why they deserve the best sports coverage in the world. We are the Woodward Sports Network.
Attention sports fans, it's time to tap in with Injury Sports Insider with Dr. Jeff Pierce of Michigan Sports and Spine. You can join Dr. Pierce every Tuesday on Big D Energy, every Thursday on Ermanni and Everest, where he's offering you top-notch injury advice. So y'all got to trust the guy that DMAC trusts, because Dr. Pierce is here to keep you in the game and performing at your best. And make sure to visit them online, www.michigansportsandspine.com. Shout out to Dr. Pierce, man. Hey, and we are back. We are live at Feldman Chevrolet of Novi. It is Michigan's #1 Chevy dealer, and all they do is win, win, win. And you know what? This is the question I got to ask you, Flannel. Obviously, a tough loss for the Chiefs, but is the Mahomes window closed? Their outlook ahead right now, listen, how the roster is shaping up going forward, is it closed?
No.
Is it closing?
No. That's a bird brain thing to even say. And I'm not saying you're a bird brain, but 3 Super Bowl MVPs in his first 7 seasons. Now it's just over.
You're getting stick riled up
After
over here.
just they were just in the Super Bowl, man. If you think there are going to be people that think the Lamar Jackson window is this wide, the Atlantic Ocean wide, and the Mahomes Chiefs one is over.
Did it again.
I look at Stick. He says system quarterback. Flannel.
Yeah, that's 3 Super Bowl MVPs, 2 regular season MVPs. That's third, objectively the third greatest of all time right now.
But you know what, man? Irv got.
I said Super Bowl MVPs.
Look,
I'm always the one that gets accused of no nuance, but I have more nuance than all y'all motherfuckers.
You big man.
Oh, I'm not mad. I just don't deal well with idiocy.
I love you,
That's
Flannel.
all.
Or people who are mad say it just like that. I'm not mad. That is the mad one. I would be, though. I would be. I'm still sitting here pissed about the Lions. I am still
for real.
seeing that. I mean, because real.
That was supposed to be us whooping the Chiefs' ass.
That's where I'm looking at Irv Gotti in the chat. He's like, what up, though, Kool-Aid? Okay, gloves are off now. Get the freaking D-line together. Defense wins Super Bowls. Brad and Dan must answer this issue and learn to address mobile quarterbacks, man. And you know what? I text the group chat. Y'all text the group chat. Ermanni was posting it. Everybody's mind was there. Was looking at the effect that defensive line had and thinking about the effect that the Washington Commanders and their game plan, that defensive line made things very uncomfortable for a top 5 MVP candidate in Jared Goff. And last night you saw a former MVP, the best in the game right now. I don't believe the window's closing. The best in the game right now, and the window's not closing because of Patrick Mahomes. But you saw what the Eagles were able to do. And this was a thing that maybe I underestimated. And I told you guys this off air, like, you know what? Maybe the Detroit Lions, they had enough, and I do believe they have enough, even if they have some catastrophic injuries. You don't want to go through that again to make sure they get by in the regular season. But when you talk about the best of the best, that's what we saw on display last night. And it's not necessarily that the Lions couldn't compete, but what you saw from the Eagles last night was just so many steps ahead that I do believe players like Aiden Hutchinson and Aleem McNeil would have been able to effectively help us to be able to reach and create those levels of uncomfortability if they would have been able to reach the Super Bowl as well.
And I think, and I'm going to tie this back into Myles Garrett, I think the whole Myles Garrett discourse and the fact that he's available for trade, and I think we're all in agreement in this room that we'd like to see the Lions attempt to make that move. What it's made us lose sight of a bit, I think, is the fact that Brad Holmes has actually built up this defensive line to win healthy is one of the better ones in the NFL already. If you put Hutch, Zadarius Smith, DJ Reader, Levi O, Aleem McNeil. Levi O, we might not resign him, but still, just those 4, if you include Levi O as well, that is a damn good defensive line. I will say this, though. I think one of the reasons why the Myles Garrett discourse is so strong, 1, he's actually available for trade, and 2, you can look at the Eagles and how they've drafted and developed and all of that, but I think the Eagles, other than the Lions getting Aiden Hutchinson, have actually done a better job drafting D linemen than the Lions have. The Lions have had a couple of misses. Broderick Martin is a miss. Levi O has had 1 year where he was good after being hurt or ineffective for 3 years, and we're not going to re-sign him. The Eagles, you talk about Nolan Smith, Josh Sweat, Jordan Davis, Jalen Carter, Milton Williams. It's they haven't missed at all, and that's why they're so good. So Myles Garrett, to me, seems like a potential missing piece, and we saw how important it is to have a dominant defensive line. The Eagles' defensive line sacked Mahomes 6 times and hit him 11 times, and they never blitzed. They never blitzed. That is unbelievable.
He's trying, Flannel.
That's all right.
Look, man, you're preaching right now, and you see it in the chat. Everybody's like, bro, we were never going to beat the Eagles. We need a pass rush. And I'm wondering, man, are you guys, where's the confidence level at right now for this Detroit Lions team moving forward? And what's the strategy? I think everybody believes we need to make sure that we go in there and we shore up those trenches, especially on that defensive line. Especially on offensive line when you're talking about Ragnow. But on the defensive side, we do got some horses that are on the way back. But when you're talking about what strategy, that's where I'm still seeing the discussion and the discourse where some people want the draft way. They believe, no, we trust Brad in the draft, but we have to be fair. We trust Brad. But you did just point out some of the record. And when you have a Myles Garrett, that's a guy that you know can step in right away and give you exactly what he's been giving the rest of this league. And that's what I want on the bookend on the other side of Aiden Hutchinson, period. Yeah. I like what Zadarius Smith brings to the table. But when you're talking about being able to go out there and play with the nuclear option, why not? This is a Super Bowl window here. We've seen now the last 2 years, and if I'm going to update my expectations in terms of how this goes, do we have the talent? Yes, but is that what wins Super Bowls? It's a factor. It's a factor. But how you continue to build this team to be able to overcome the fact that you know there's going to be injuries, there's going to be refs against you. Like, I was pleased with the fact that the Lions were able to overcome the fact that they only got one. They only benefited from one defensive pass interference for 5 yards the entire season. But now they're going to have to find a way to make sure that those trenches look as solid as Phillies did at the end of the season. Everyone's going to go through injuries. How do you get to the end and your defensive line and your offensive line is more elite than the other team?
Yeah, no, you got to be real about it. Like, when you're in the position that Brad Holmes is in now, and it's different once you actually have a core of players that are actually ready to go. This isn't a team that has a lot of holes still. You know, we know the Lions at this point are pretty much well built up. So you really just need to add in specific areas. And when you see, like, what works in the NFL is clearly if you have a pass rush, you can affect any quarterback. It doesn't matter how great he is. It doesn't matter the talent level. If you can get to the quarterback, you can win games in the NFL. So for the Lions, and I agree with what Sam said, Brad Holmes has built this thing up to where he has gotten a better defensive line over the years compared to what he started with. But at this point, you might have to change some things up. You might have to try to shoot for something even greater than what you have now. And if that's not the Myles Garrett move, then fine. I understand he might be a little expensive, but you need to get maybe a little bit serious about upgrading this defensive line to the point to where you can compete on the level that the Eagles competed last night. I mean, they absolutely shut out one of the greatest quarterbacks of this generation. Bro. Like, that was amazing what they were able to do last night. And it was a little bit on the Chiefs as well, but just the way they were able to affect Patrick Mahomes, his vision, even him getting out of the pocket. If the Lions had that, and they are already like, they have something very close to that. If they can just add a couple more pieces to really push this thing over the top, then I think we can be on that stage doing that.
I mean, I look at the Eagles in a certain way as not an exact blueprint, but some things that you can look at, because at the end of the season, don't get it twisted, they had the best offensive line in the NFL and what proved to be the best defensive line in the NFL. I actually think that there's a chance that the Lions could have that next year. Obviously, if they add Myles Garrett, there would be no doubt, in my opinion, I'd have confidence in them overtaking the Eagles as the best offensive line and the best defensive line. But we all know that Myles Garrett isn't the only option, and he's only going to go to one team. That's what I want. I think Myles Garrett and Aiden Hutchinson would be the greatest edge rushing duo we've ever seen. I think they would combine for at least 35 sacks. But as currently constructed, if you have Hutch, you got Zadarius, you've got Reeder, you've got Aleem, you've got rotational pieces like Pascal and Wingo and et cetera, et cetera. I don't think that's the worst thing in the world. Would it be as good as the Eagles were this past year? I'm not sure about that. But what if they're even a fraction worse? That's still good enough.
Yeah. And chat family, I need you guys to be able to tell me. I see your comments. We're going to read some of these comments here. But tell me what your strategy is. Do you believe that the Detroit Lions have enough as is? Because there are some dogs over there. When you're talking about if Aleem gets back healthy, if Aiden Hutchinson comes back healthy, you got Zadarius Smith, you got DJ Reader. You have some of the rotational depth pieces that you talked about as well. There are some dogs there. But when you're talking about a Super Bowl, because I saw some people in the chat saying things like, well, we battled through injuries all season. Yes, and I believe that you run it back. I believe that they could do that again in a regular season. But when you get down to those last 2, 3, or 4 dogs in the NFL, there's just a completely different level that, remember, what did we say at the beginning of the season? We're fans learning to be a team that has Super Bowl expectations. So how are we supposed to be fans of this team? We're supposed to update how we see it. And right now I realize when you get down to those last 2 or 3 or 4 teams, it's not like the regular season. It's not like the rest of the other games.
Yeah.
It's not like the other teams. This is now where you have to make sure that you are elite. And that's what we saw last night. Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs and Andy freaking Reid stepped to the podium yesterday and got spanked.
Yeah.
Because why? Because Philly was elite in those trenches, man. That to me is where I'm like, you know what? The Lions, they have that recipe. They just got injured. We know that the offensive line coming into the season was viewed as probably their number one strength, and the defensive line we had very, very high hopes in because of the DJ Reader and the Davenport signings. We were ecstatic about the leap that we thought Aiden Hutchinson can take, and now I sit here still believing in that defensive line, but believing personally that we need a lot more. And I don't know, over the last few years, I've appreciated what he's done in the free agent market at acquiring help along that defensive line.
Yeah, we all believe in Hutch. I think that goes without question. I think all of us as Lions fans at this point realize the talent that Aiden Hutchinson is, and the fact that you can have him, but you can't have a Marcus Davenport type situation happen to you. Zadarius Smith, I love him, but he is a older defensive end. If you were able to add something more to that and be more in a position to be able to incur injury and still be productive, that's kind of what we're looking for as Lions fans. Not to say Brad hasn't done enough, but at this point, you would just like to see him, just push the chips in a little bit. I don't think he'll mortgage the future all the way. That's not really his style, but we draft every single year. At this point, you have your starters. So if you can just add that one specific piece to an already elite team, in my opinion, now we're talking. Now we maybe don't have a collapse in the divisional round. That's all I'm saying.
And Hutch deserves it too, man. When you think about the fact that Hutch stepped up his game and he was on probably a historical pace this year from the defense and probably would have ended the season looking like the best defensive player in the league, that's where I'm like, you can trust going out there and spending that money and putting him over there. We're not waiting for him to reach these potentials now. He's reached it. So now you know that you're literally playing with M60s, man. You're playing with dynamite if you put Myles Garrett on the other side of Aiden Hutchinson. And that's where I'm like, you get to control. You saw that. You get to kind of really control and dictate your destiny. It's almost like putting the ball in your hands, man. It's almost like going to the court. And when we all know, if you take your basketball, you feel so much more comfortable. You know the way that them dribbles, the grip, all of that. And that's what I view getting a Myles Garrett on this team is like. It's just putting yourself in a driver's seat. You're very, very comfortable. And it's just go out there with your dogs and go. And that's what I saw out of Philly last night. It was their dogs. They were bigger than the Chiefs. They seemed to be stronger than the Chiefs in the trenches. They seemed to be faster than them. And it was nothing they could do even if they tried to bring extra help. Yeah. And I know that the Lions are close to that, which is why I'm saying, man, if you went and you got a person like a Myles Garrett, I really do believe you push this thing all the way to the other end. But there are some people who believe there's some cheaper options. There's some people who believe that the draft is the way to go, but
you got to pay for what you want.
Yeah, listen, LFIV says this, and this is what I was talking about. Like the Lions need to be able to beat teams like the Bills, Chiefs, Eagles, and Ravens. Load up on the defense. So while I do believe, like Flannel and KG, that yes, they can overcome and do what we saw them do in a regular season. Myles Garrett my mindset is on him because of what we saw out of their best of the best.
I just think at this point, you don't necessarily need to load up on young talent. If you have a ready-made elite player to add to this thing, let's go try to do that at this point, because we're in our window right now. The Lions, they were in the NFC Championship game in 2023. They were a number 1 seed in the NFC in the divisional round this year. So that tells me that this team is ready-made. They're ready to go right now. You need to add something that's already established, something that you don't have to develop. You just put them next to Hutch and let's go. Let's go.
Yeah, no, I'm you know that I'm in lockstep with you on that. And Chuck Brewer does bring up one thing which I think we all have talked about and we need to have as perspective. How many Eagles D linemen were on IR last night? And that's very fair. I mean, that is fair. They were as a team, and this is no disrespect. Like they earned it, as healthy as a horse. Everybody was available. And I'm just hoping that there is a pendulum shift next year and the Lions, no matter who they add or what they do, have that same kind of health that the Eagles did this year, because that's usually what it takes to win a Super Bowl as well.
Yeah, you know what? I do want to get to the comments in the chat, so let's take a quick one. We'll get back, strategize a little bit, and then I know we got some Pistons on the way because it's a victory show, man. Shout out to the Pistons with a couple big victories, one without Cade, one with Cade, but one where they handled business and looked like the better team in both games. It still left some things to be desired. But you know what, man? It looked like the chat is fired up right now about this conversation as relates to the defensive line, the trenches, and where they go. In chat, let us know what the strategy is. Because I'm seeing a split. Some people, I see Terrell Lamar saying that KG is all for the Myles Garrett. He says that KG's drinking the Garrett and Crosby Kool-Aid.
I mean, at this point, I might be. I'm not shying away from that.
Hey, I want to know, man, is there cheaper options? Is there drafts? I want to know what the chat family is feeling on this thing as well. So,
oh, no, I think Terrell Lamar might be drinking the Al Karsten Kool-Aid. I freaking hate that guy.
Yeah.
Hey, let's say what up to some friends.
Keep taking the cheap option, man. You get burned. Get burned.
All right, let me tell you about Caesar Sportsbook, the official sportsbook of us here at Woodward Sports. All you got to do, scan that QR code on screen. Use code word Woodward1000. You can deposit up to $1,000, but all you have to do is place a minimum of a $20 bet. And you know what? If it doesn't hit, they'll throw it right back into your account with no questions asked. It's the Caesar Sportsbook, the official sportsbook of us here at Woodward Sports. Go out and make some money today.
Feldman Chevrolet, Michigan's #1 Chevy dealer, is kicking off the game with the best prices on all cars, trucks, and SUVs, like this 2024 Silverado for just $296 a month, or this 2025 Equinox for as low as $371 a month. Our locations in Novi, Highland, New Hudson, Livonia, and Lansing means we have the perfect Chevy right in your backyard. Get the home team advantage every day at Feldman Chevrolet, Michigan's #1 Chevy dealer.
The most talked about Detroit media by other Detroit media, and we love it. It's the Woodward Sports Network.
Walk into any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men today. Open 7 days a week. Sit back, relax, and enjoy precision haircut, scalp massage, hot leather neck shave, and hot towel treatment from one of our talented stylists. Step up your game this season and take advantage of our $20 haircut special. Scan the QR code and get your coupon today. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, the ultimate haircut experience. Open 7 days a week. Walk-ins always welcome. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, it's wicked awesome.
No one gives away more cash and prizes than Woodward Sports. You don't believe us? Here's our latest $10,000 winner.
You know, you guys posted, hey, if you guess all this stuff right, we'll give it's $10,000. I'm like, okay, well, why the hell not?
And the winning doesn't stop there. How about our Outkick Your Coverage winner?
I think you won. David Tully, everybody. David Tully. This guy's got a hot girl.
Bigger prizes, bigger giveaways, cash, merch, tickets, and more. All from the biggest sports network in Detroit. No one does it bigger and better than Woodward Sports. Make sure you're following, liking, subscribing on Instagram, Facebook, X, and YouTube for your chances to share in the winning. From Detroit's #1 sports network, Woodward Sports.
Hey, it's Soroki's Crispy Chicken and Pizza, where you've got all of your needs for lunch, dinner time, just anytime you want to get yourself some good eats, Soroki's is there for you. They got wings, chicken, pizza, potato wedges. I think they even have deep-fried corn. I saw that one time on the menu. And, of course, biscuits. That's probably the highlight of them all. So get yourself to a Soroki's today. There are locations all around Metro Detroit, and they keep continuing to pop up damn near daily.
Hey, you know what? That sounds like lunch.
Yes.
Soroki's is fire. I know that one of the best things to come away from Lions season is the Soroki's. And the chat family that showed up to the games, to the watch parties at Hayes Social, they definitely know what we're talking about, man. But welcome back. It is Wake Up Woodward. We are live at Feldman Chevrolet of Novitas, Michigan's #1 Chevy dealership. And you know what? They've taken care of a couple of our Woodward Sports family member here, including Flannel Sam. They're going to be taking care of me soon, well, in the summertime. But Flannel, man, the process, it was dope for you, huh?
The process was easy and seamless, and I'm still have that same car and loving it 2 years later. Before we move on, I've got a couple of Super Chats to clean up. From Burn, $5 Super Chat. Been telling you all season, NFL hates three-peats, and the refs suddenly disappear at the worst time. Also, Chiefs were the worst 15-win team statistically. They only won 2 in a row. The fact that they couldn't do something that no other NFL team in history has done, man, they just blow. God, the Chiefs suck so much. Anywho, this one is from Shisose.
Clip that.
Sosa.
Bitches love Sosa.
I was about to say.
Shout out.
Speaking of that, Chase did be kind of dirty on the on the clips last week, putting the prove me wrong responses. Like I actually believe that when I was trying to argue with you, but that's okay.
Hilarious.
We love Chase. We love Chase. And this is a fire Brad if he doesn't get an elite pass rusher. No, that's nobody's firing Brad Holmes. And then Mike,
not at all.
Mike Berghorst. Philly would have destroyed the Lions. And I will say this. If the Lions would have beat the Commanders and played the Eagles at home in the NFC Championship, I do believe the Eagles win. A fully healthy Eagles versus an injury-riddled Lions. Yeah. I think the Eagles win this year. But fully healthy, that could potentially be a titanic matchup the whole year when it comes to NFC powerhouses.
And man, that's what continues to drive kind of this conversation of, do the Lions have enough? And where's people's confidence? Do you feel more or less confident? After watching that Super Bowl, do you all feel more or less confident that the Lions are one of those elite teams or have enough, if healthy? Or what do they need to do? And you know what? The chat is absolutely lit up with this, man. Jim3 says, I agree with KG. You got to ask yourself, how many new draft picks will actually make the team next year? Terrell Lamar believes, no, with a healthy team. And so you got people on both sides, man. Steve Watts, I agree. Both should. They are older guys, past prime, and not worth the price. Let me see here. You notice how the pass rush won the day. That's from Derek Harper. Southwest says, go get Garrett. F the BS. Healthy Lions next season. Greg, 2025. Man, there's some people who want the draft. There's some people who think healthy Lions enough. There's some people who believe we need Myles Garrett. It's crazy just to kind of see how split this thing continues to be. Even amongst our chat family as well as on social media. I'm one. I think we're all in lockstep. It's that go get Myles Garrett. It's the proven commodity right now after a couple times of falling short with the guys that you have right now. Who I love Hutch. I love what we're building. But last night what I saw was something completely different, and the relationship between their defensive line, their linebackers, and the Eagles cornerbacks. That was something that I was a little bit envious of, and I did want to see this team healthy, this Lions team get back healthy, but think about it, man. Like, they were able to rush 4, and even then when Saquon Barkley was able to beat the 4-man rush, their linebacker was always right there in the right spot. Then the cornerbacks in the secondary was always seemingly in the right spot, running the routes for receivers. That was in my opinion, defensive masterclass, a great game plan, and I do believe that pass rush is what helps out those linebackers and that secondary more than anything.
Well, and that's another thing that we have to consider when it comes to the Myles Garrett conversation. Because when it comes to the Eagles' defense, obviously their pass rush has become elite. Howie Roseman has done a masterful job in hitting on, at least to some degree, on damn near every one of his defensive line or edge rushing picks. But do you know what else the Eagles did last year? They actually did what the Lions tried to do. Quinyon Mitchell and Cooper DeJean were home runs.
They were phenomenal.
Terrion Arnold, good, still some questions, and Ennis Rakestraw, injured. So we know for a fact that Quinyon and Cooper DeJean can play, and when you can only rush.
And they picked up Old Man Darius.
Absolutely, Old Man Darius.
Right.
And when you're rushing 4 and you don't have to leave all of the corners on islands, it's damn near over for everybody. And you could see even when Patrick Mahomes did have time, I mean, Cooper DeJean made a play. People weren't always getting open. So I think that plays a role in it as well. I think that might necessitate not only the Lions having a defensive line that gets back healthy and can challenge the Eagles, I think the Lions might need to have a better defensive line in order to win the Super Bowl. And if you get Myles Garrett, that is the best defensive line in football. No question about it.
And people got to realize the draft is always going to be there. And luckily, that's one of our GM's best strengths, is going even in later rounds and finding talent that can help this team. So when Brad Holmes has an ability like that, I'm not really sweating, at this point, look at what he did when our secondary was so bad. He went out there, he signed Carlton Davis, but he also added a first and a second-round pick to that room.
And Amik Robertson.
I mean, he absolutely attacked that position because he realized this is a weakness. This is something that can hold us back from really getting to where we want to go. And it's the same applies here with the defensive line. That appears to be the weakness on this team. Yeah. And it's not to say that, you have one of the worst defensive lines in the league. Your defensive line is good, but we're just trying to get to that next level. And I do believe there is a next level with this Lions defense, especially now that you have a new defensive coordinator coming in, Kelvin Shepard, who may have some different philosophies. Maybe he doesn't play man as much. Maybe he wants to go to more zone. There will be intricacies to this defense, and I just want to supply him with as much talent as possible to go out there and make this defense one of the best units in the league, because they have the potential to be that.
Especially when you saw the defense in the Minnesota Vikings game is what makes me perk my ears up a little bit more to Calvin Shepard, because I've seen people give credit to those linebacker stunts that they were running to get the pressure to Calvin Shepard. And that's where you do. You want to be able to have this guy have honestly everything that he needs to be able to have this line be similar to the Eagles last night. Like Cole Soldier said, they were able to rush for with pressure drop 7 all game. All game, they were effectively able to do that. And I do believe that Terry Arnold will look even better if Aiden Hutchinson was able to be there the entire season. I believe you see guys in that secondary look even better if you have an Aiden Hutchinson back there. I think that secondary played way, way, way above their head. But when I look at something here, one thing that I am comfortable with, I've been calling for them to make some type of addition to the linebacker core, because we know when you talk about, hey, they took the sledgehammer and the work hat to the secondary. They did do some beefing up on the defensive line. I do believe that the growth of the linebackers allows them to say, you know what, let's go and put even more into the defensive line right now to be able to make sure that in the trenches is what's beefed up the most. And that's where Myles Garrett, as we keep saying, he's got to be the guy. And I'm seeing the chat continue to echo some of those same sentiments.
Yeah, and like we've said before, and I feel like I'm a broken record. The only reason we're talking about Myles Garrett is because he wants to be traded. He said so on social media. It's a big topic. Probably every city is doing some level of a Myles Garrett topic. It's not necessarily a fever dream. And for the record, I can understand if you're one of the people that thinks it's unrealistic. I strongly disagree, but I get that to some degree. I get it if you have some confidence in if this defensive line is healthy next year, they will be just fine anyway. The thing that I don't understand are the people that actively don't want him. Yeah. And I'm not saying there's a ton of them in the chat, but there's going to be some people at a certain Detroit Lions outlet that are going to be victory lapping. And if the Lions get Myles Garrett, you guys know who you are. Do not let them cheer, because they don't want this. They don't.
They don't let them cheer. I love
don't let
that,
them
man.
cheer.
I love that. And you know what, man? Let me see. There's a couple more people here in the chat. Steve Wilds, Pascal high second is not even a rotation type.
I mean, you could argue he's not been a hit. Not as much as the Eagles have hit on theirs. And I'm not saying Josh Pascal's been bad. It's just that you saw what going damn near 100% on all your defensive line draft picks looks like last night, and have let some of them develop into pretty much stars right now.
Here's my question to you guys. With the strategy that you want Brad Holmes to go out there and do, what do you think he's done better? Obviously, Aiden Hutchinson's going to skew this, but some people say, well, that was a layup. What do you think he's done better with this defensive line in terms of making sure that they are what they're going to be through the draft or through free agency or acquisition? Which do you believe he's shown to actually be better at? And that's where I kind of lean towards.
Yeah. I mean, Aleem McNeil and Aiden Hutchinson means the draft, and I don't think there's really any question about it. But, yeah, it's always going to be the draft because of Hutch. And for the record, It was the easy pick, but there were a lot of people, even in this town, that would have rather had Kayvon Thibodeau. And I'm not saying Kayvon Thibodeau's bad or anything. He's not Hutch.
He's not Hutch.
So you give him credit for that pick, even though in hindsight it seems obvious. At the time, it wasn't so obvious. And getting Aleem in the 3rd round, I mean, that's a heck of a pick.
That's a really good
If
pick.
they can both come back healthy just themselves, I think this D-line will be one of the best in the NFL no matter what. So you got to go with drafting.
And that's where some of
At
the
least up to this
people
point.
in the chat, some of the people that I've seen for, let's just trust Brad in the draft, that's where they're at. They believe that, it's a little bit more even because you look at the players he's either acquired or signed. You're looking at DJ Reader. You're looking at Zadarius Smith. Obviously Davenport, if he can stay healthy. But then when you do look at the draft, you're right. At the top of that thing, they skew it heavily when you talk about Hutch and Aleem. And so I do believe that there's an argument both ways. I just think at this stage right now, you can go and get a guy who's already at that kind of top defensive lineman in the league type status. I think you go and get that. Is there anyone that you see, KG, in the draft that can step in and kind of have that type of impact day one?
I mean, I haven't looked at the draft to actually see what people can actually be difference makers for this team because, like I said, the Lions are in a position now to where if you draft somebody and you want them to come in and be that number 2 to Hutch, they have to, hit the ground running. They have to be ready to go right now. So I don't know if there's a lot of talent in the draft that's just ready to hit the ground running and be a consistent number 2 next to Hutch. So that's just the question that we're at. I don't think it's unrealistic. For people that say Myles Garrett is unrealistic at this point, why? Why the Lions have the capital to go get it done. They have the cap space that if they want to sign him to a longer-term contract, they can make it happen. They'll have to do some maneuvering, but at this point, I think people need to realize, okay, if Myles Garrett isn't the move, the Lions may have to go out there and get creative with how they want to build this team and how they want to attack because they already got one side of the football down. The offense, ready to go. Top 5 offense in the league consecutive years, we're good. The defense has been the unit that has had questions. And if you can fix that defensive line, I feel like a lot of your questions will be answered at that point because the secondary is improved already.
If it's not Myles Garrett, do you look towards more of the draft or is it still, we need to go out there in free agency or – search the acquisition market and be able to get somebody who we know is proven. Similar to what they did, obviously, was Zadarius Smith at the trade deadline.
Yeah.
But that was pretty much the only thing you could do. They didn't have the choice of being able to draft someone at that point in time. But this offseason, they're going to have a choice. If it's not Myles,
right.
Do you shift your philosophy then?
No, I mean, once again, the draft is going to be there. So Brad can also add through the draft. Nobody is saying, okay, just ignore the draft. Don't get a defensive lineman in the draft. Like, you can still go get one.
Player.
But if you have to go out in the free agency market or maybe even try to create some magic of your own, maybe get out there, see who's really available, hit the phones, hit these other teams up, see if there is a player that is elite right now or at least really damn good right now that can come in and help you.
Yeah, and Stick,
I see Stick.
You've said a lot today, but I actually agree with we are picking damn near 30 now.
F them
picks. And the thing is that obviously if you stand pat where you're at 28 and make an edge rusher pick, you're probably going to get the 4th, 5th, 6th best edge rusher in the draft, at least in terms of projections.
They can't do the draft.
There's going to be, obviously sometimes you make a pick like that later on, and you strike gold with a George Karlaftis or a Chop Robinson. But even somebody like Nolan Smith, he didn't do really nothing last year. And I think we need somebody that is going to I think 2025 is the best setup that the Lions are going to be to win a Super Bowl, just as everything currently constructed. By the time you get to 2026 and 2027, it's going to take some more Brad Holmes wizardry and continuing to prove that he can handle who to cut, who to sign, who to re-sign, all of that good stuff. 2025, you don't need a rookie with rookie growing pains. Obviously, the growing pains could be like with Chop Robinson, where at the beginning it's a little shaky, and by the end of the year you're ready to say that you've arrived. But it also could be somebody like, I don't know, a Felix Anudoke Umar or whatever for the Chiefs. That's just a guy. That's just an example, but usually picks in the lower first round that are defensive ends don't come in and they're not Aiden Hutchinson right away, or even Kayvon Thibodeau right away. They're just guys.
Greg is saying trade up in the draft as well. That might be an option.
Brad Holmes does that all the time. So
He does. And you know what I'm also seeing in the chat a little bit more, too? I'm seeing people talk about the linebackers, that they need to go and do something there. You know what? I wouldn't mind seeing it, but I'm comfortable with Malcolm Rodriguez getting healthy because they only have so much capital. They only have so much they can kind of spread around.
Right.
If I had to go and get an impact player somewhere, it's in the trenches. That's just me.
Yep. And, man, do you think it's time to talk about the Pistons?
They deserve it.
They absolutely deserve it. But,
They deserve
But before we go to break, I just have to say, Terrell Lamar, you are having yourself a bad day in this here chat. I know you've called in before, but the next time you call in, you ain't getting no response from me, buddy boy. So what breaks do we have to
KG, you want to do
Shout out
1800?
Terrell, man. Shout out Terrell.
No shout out Terrell.
But yeah,
Terrell gets nothing from
Terrell
me.
the
He's gonna
homie,
like
man.
it.
I fuck with Terrell.
Not my
Shout out Terrell, man.
But listen, man, maybe Sam needs some 1800 tequila because, I mean, he is taking this Pat Mahomes loss hard, man. That is tough what happened to my man's last night. But shout out 1800 Tequila. It's the official tequila of Lions Woodward Sports watch parties and the post-game show that we will be back with next year. But it's also the proud partner of your Detroit Lions. 1800 Tequila, the best taste in tequila, and please drink responsibly.
Feldman Chevrolet, Michigan's #1 Chevy dealer, is kicking off the game with the best prices on all cars, trucks, and SUVs, like this 2024 Silverado for just $296 a month, or this 2025 Equinox for as low as $371 a month. Our locations in Novi, Highland, New Hudson, Livonia, and Lansing means we have the perfect Chevy right in your backyard. Get the home team advantage every day at Feldman Chevrolet, Michigan's #1 Chevy dealer.
Big injuries, big news. Twice a week, Dr. Jeff Pierce from Michigan Sports and Spine joins Woodward Sports Network for the Injury Insider Report. Big D Energy Tuesdays at noon, and Ermanni and Edwards with Maz Thursdays at 3:30. Get expert analysis and in-depth breakdowns on the latest sports injuries from the man trusted by top athletes in the community, like D-Mac. Whether it's the Lions, Pistons, Tigers, or Red Wings, Dr. Pierce talks us through it all. Don't miss the Injury Insider Report with Dr. Jeff Pierce, your go-to source for understanding the impact of injuries on the games and players we love. Only on Woodward Sports Network. Scan the QR code on the screen or go to MichiganSportsandSpine.com to see if Dr. Jeff Pierce can help you.
How do people feel about getting a Planet Fitness membership for $15 a month? How do they like working out in a clean and spacious gym that's filled with equipment for every workout? And how about free fitness training in the judgment-free zone that leaves them feeling energized all day long? Join Planet Fitness today with the free PF app online or in club and start getting that big fitness energy for $15 a month.
Detroit has the best sports fans in the world. That's why they deserve the best sports coverage in the world. We are the Woodward Sports Network.
Walk into any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men today. Open 7 days a week. Sit back, relax, and enjoy precision haircut, scalp massage, hot leather neck shave, and hot towel treatment from one of our talented stylists. Step up your game this season and take advantage of our $20 haircut special. Scan the QR code and get your coupon today. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, the ultimate haircut experience. Open 7 days a week. Walk-ins always welcome. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. It's wicked awesome.
Hey, listen, guys. At Lady Jane's Haircut, they're talented stylists. They take the chore out of getting a haircut, and they have a suite of premium services to make you feel special. And you know what, man? And you'll also look it as well. You got to get in there because, you know, they got my favorite, that hot lather.
You said hot, a little aggressive. You all right over there?
Hold on, let me take it down a few notches here, man.
Just a little bit,
Hey, but you know what? That
Emphasis
hot
on the hot.
towel treatment, that neck, that lather neck shave, all of that, man. They got you covered. And you guys know when we're in studio, you see the mask chair, you see all of the people, man. Some of those KG, man. Some of those guys that are in there, you could tell that they're in another place. You could be too. You just got to walk into Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men anytime. Open 7 days a week. It's wicked awesome.
They be in there giving their whole biography to the Jays.
I'll be like, yo, that's a whole podcast.
Man. Hey, you should have took going through right now, and Pistons win 112 to 102. Cade Cunningham is 8th triple-double of the season, man. Shout out to Pistons legend Taj Gibson. About to go to the press conference. Talk about it, man.
Hey, you know what? Let me do this a little bit more appropriately. It's your boy Brandon, a.k.a. Detroit Kool-Aid, your credential Pistons reporter and writer for the network. We got Ball Knower, Flannel Sam over here, Red Wings correspondent. We got KG in the building, Detroit's #1 draft pick on the sounds. We got JB Smooth, Woodward Sports MVP in the TD space. We got the Godfather stick in the background, and you see that. Feldman Chevrolet of Novi. It's Michigan's #1 Chevy dealer, and all they do is win, 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 win. And you know what? Shout out to the Pistons.
Yeah.
Victory show, victory shades, a couple of nice wins over the weekend, Flannel Sam. And you know what? They are not satisfied. That's what I like about this Pistons team. They're handling business, though. You would have liked to see them go out there and not get outscored the last 3 quarters of that game. But when they perked right back up, there was so much to like. And you know what? With the Detroit Pistons, first they took out the Philadelphia 76ers. Joel Embiid did play. Cade Cunningham did not play. They really bludgeoned them. It was 125 to 112. It didn't really even feel as close as that final score. And Malik Beasley was on fire. Then the second game, the Hornets and the Pistons, a 1 o'clock game yesterday. And the Pistons come away with a 112 to 102 victory. Cade Cunningham with his, as you guys heard it, his 8th triple-double. And you know what? Before we get into the conversation, I want to be able to let you guys hear from one J.B. Bickerstaff on yesterday's win. Because it was interesting. I thought, hey, you guys just got a couple nice wins. You have opportunity to go into All-Star break up 3. 3 games above 500. Let's hear from J.B. Bickerstaff after that game yesterday.
JB, these matchups with Charlotte all season long have seemed to be these wire-to-wire type matchups, at least towards the end of the game. In the fourth, when you guys started to go through that lull, I guess, what did you see from your guys that put them in that spot, and how'd you climb out?
I mean, we didn't do the things that we needed to do, and that's, an area that, we're constantly trying to improve upon. There's a standard that we set for ourselves, and we need to hold ourselves to that standard. And tonight we did not. We were outscored in 3 quarters. The last 3 quarters of the game, they outscored us. That's not good enough. So, we were fortunate enough to win, but our expectations are higher than that, and our standard is higher than that, and we did not play to that standard tonight.
Oh, well, dang, Coach. All right, let me take the victory shades off there. Sheesh, because he went in like – everything that he was saying is every reason why I believe these Detroit Pistons are exceeding everybody's expectations is because he's not letting them settle, not in losses and not in victories. He said, yeah, cool, we got the dub, but we got outscored the last 3 quarters of the game. And that, to me, is where I'm just like, you know what? J.B. Bickerstaff is a real one. You see him on the sidelines going for his team. These referees definitely know his name because he is not giving them any respite. He does not play. But with his own team, too, I was wondering, I was like, why, after a victory, why is it taking him so long to get to the podium? And we got in, he just looked frustrated, man. And that, to me, that's why I believe this Pistons team has won in the second half of this season. Well, they're already in the second half of it, but post-All-Star break, they are one to really, really look out for because J.B. Bickerstaff said they didn't play up to playoff standard tonight, even though they got a 10-point win, bro.
Yeah, and I get where J.B. Bickerstaff is coming from. I remember at one point during that game, I think we were all at that point where we thought it was going to be on cruise control. I believe the highest the lead got was like 54-27 or something like that, and the Hornets were playing without LaMelo Ball and just looked terrible out there, and they cut the lead to 2 in the fourth quarter. There were some moments where it was looking way too precarious for how well they were playing earlier. Yeah. But credit to the Pistons because they did get the win. Once it got down to 2, the Pistons immediately extended it to about 9, primarily off the backs of Cade and Dennis Schroeder, by the way, which you love to see. And they were able to, for all intents and purposes, cruise home after a little bit of a scare earlier. But a shout-out to J.B. Bickerstaff. I remember – it's just funny because last year, any win in any way, shape, or form was like a minor miracle. The fact that J.B. Bickerstaff can find those justifiable flaws or those correct flaws in a win just tells me all you need to know about him, that he's not satisfied even though the Pistons are over 500 and they went 2-0 on the weekend, one of the games without Cade. That's a fantastic weekend objectively, but there are things to clean up.
Preach, brother. And you know what? Shout out to Dennis Schroeder. I liked what I saw from Dennis Schroeder, and it was comfortable knowing like, yo, we got another ball handler. Like, we haven't seen that since Jaden Ivey went down. We got another ball handler who can come in and facilitate That was our bare minimum wish list, was get us a backup facilitator and some draft picks at the deadline. And he did that. Trajan Langdon made that happen for free. And you know when it really, really, really started to look good? It was some questions. I'm going to chop up the audio for Woodward Pistons on Wednesday. I apologize for not having it today. But from Trajan Langdon's press conference and being able to ask him his thoughts on the acquisition of a Dennis Schroeder. And, you know, he's not the coach. But clearly he's clued in to what their ideas are. And he said, yeah. You know, ball handling, secondary. But you know what? This guy can play with Cade and he can run his own units, and we expect him to do both. And he just said it so confidently. And what did you see when it was time for the Pistons to perk back up? One of the reasons why they lost that lead kind of in that third quarter going into the fourth quarter was they sat Cade in the 2-minute mark to go in the third quarter, didn't bring them back until it was a little bit close for comfort. Yeah. And who did they bring back? Both of them. And all game I was asking, like, man, I wonder if we're going to get to see their minutes together. We did in the first 2 plays of them playing together to be able to really take control of this game again were assists to each other, man. Yeah. And that, to me, was like just a microcosm of what this partnership could be for them and what this can actually do to propel the Pistons forward.
Yeah, it's huge. Them being on the same team, Dennis Schroeder being a backup facilitator who can run the bench unit and also play with Cade, I think that elevates their ceiling to where they could end up being like a 43 to 45 win team. One thing I want to shout out, though, just when it comes to the weekend as a whole, the fact that on Friday they were able to get that win with no Cade Cunningham and Dennis Schroeder wasn't there yet, and not only a win, they beat the piss out of Philadelphia. Yeah. They made Joel Embiid look terrible. That was just one of the most satisfying wins of the season.
They looked
especially
way more physical.
They real physical, like peak level physical, looking like one of the making the Philadelphia Eagles just look terrible. Yeah. And this was following 2 consecutive losses.
And the way the vets stepped up, too.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, Tobias Harris, Malik Beasley, they had some games, man. Jalen Duren had a game.
JB, let me just ask you this. This isn't I'm not
No, I saw you, JB.
Get that attaboy. Get that attaboy,
victory lapping the season, I promise. I understand that the Tobias Harris signing has been mixed. I understand at the times that he has been disappointing. But
he's had his moments.
I was going to say, on this weekend, on these 2 games in which they are 2-0, one of them without Cade, averaged 21 points on 59% field goal percentage. Can we at least get one attaboy, just one, just for this weekend?
You did all right.
All right.
That's fair.
We'll take
That's
it,
fair.
man.
That's
fair.
fair.
And you know what, man? It's interesting, too, because when Jaden Ivey went down, we talked about Tobias Harris and Jalen Duren needing to be the guys that stepped up. We didn't know at the time, too, that Malik Beasley had another level he could get to. At the time, he was just good 3-point shooter off the bench. And we were looking like, okay, he made 7 threes tonight or 4 threes tonight. Now he's doing a lot more, ball handling, trying to distribute and trying to do a lot more with the minutes that he gets. And it's absolutely working out for the Detroit Pistons. And it's nice to see that if Cade's not there and Ivey's not there, we're not just talking about Cade. Cade and Ivey weren't there.
Yeah.
This team and those vets still stepped up, and that's what you need. Yeah. That's how you put yourself in a position to have less of those nights off that
when
we
was
saw
Bogey
many
doing that?
times.
No,
exactly.
Never.
Cade never had that at all, except for Grant, his rookie year.
Right.
That was it, though.
Yeah.
That was it. That was the most promising we've seen them be until now, and it's all coming together for them, man. And shout out to the people who have continued to really stay tapped in with the Pistons yesterday. The environment in the arena was nice.
I know it was.
It was nice. But with the improvement we see out of these Pistons, I think it's because of exactly what they've been saying all season. J.B. Bickerstaff, they said, has made the information so much more easy to understand. He's putting them in better positions. And I think that he's just straight up being real. I think he just cares about where they're going. Let's hear from Jalen Duren. There's a couple questions in a row from Jalen Duren. And he was not necessarily pleased, and he called himself out, pleased with his early season play. He called himself out about it. And then he also talks about what his expectations are on the season.
They cut it to 2. You guys had led at one point by 28. He lit a fire, whatever he said, and it worked. What was that all about? What was the message?
Yeah, just got to pick it up. Got a lead early, and, we started BSing a little bit, kind of just going through the motions as a team. And honestly, he just made it clear that we're not playing for these. Like, we're not worried about, how can I word that? We can't play, like, obviously they had a team that was depleted. They didn't have their guys, so we couldn't play down to the competition. and we're playing for obviously things much bigger than that. So it was kind of a variation of that with some other words, but we picked it up and we was able to get it together.
How encouraging is it that you guys can do that and get that message and realize this is not our standard and kind of snap back into it?
I mean, it's cool not cool. It's not cool. Honestly, it's BS. Like it shouldn't have been that type of game. This should have been a game where everybody, got a chance to play, and we didn't have that. So it's not a loss. We'll take the win, but this is something that we definitely have to grow from.
Coach talked about playing to your level of standard. Is that something that was set from the beginning of the season, or something that has grown as you guys have had more success this year?
In my opinion, the standard for me has been playoffs. We want to be a postseason team, and since the beginning, this is what I felt like we should be able to do. Some people might have other standards, but that's my standard, and I feel like every night we got to play to that standard.
What are you seeing?
This team, you talk about accountability, you talk about learning, you talk about taking that next step forward. And this squad, man, it's not just J.B. Bickerstaff, but they got other former head coaches like Luke Walton on the staff right now. And the attention to detail that they're playing for these, that they're paying attention to for these players. What's one of the things I told you I've been seeing all season out of Jalen during their practices? They've been messing with them. They've been physical with them. It's no more just going through the motions with the drills, which is what I saw last year. This year, they're like pushing them. And he getting mad. They're like, what? They don't do that to you in the game? You don't get these calls in the game. Back to the line. He's like, all right, give me the ball. Give me the ball. And then he went and he dunked on him. I'm like, bro, I don't know if your coach's knees work like that. Like be careful. But that, to me, is what I'm seeing out of Jalen Duren. One of the top players in the NBA in terms of dunks per game. He's found himself consistently in the top 5 all season. And we've seen him get better defensively as the season has gone on. And I do believe it's because they're taking to heart and they can trust the criticism that you get from a J.B. Bickerstaff. You can trust it. And they're taking the time. And to hear him be able to say, y'all was on some softish. I needed to be better. That was on our standard. To hear J.B. Bickerstaff before that talk about the standard as well. He wanted to say, he was about to say it was cool that we were able to overcome. And he was like, no, it ain't cool.
Yeah.
We were supposed to go out there and punch them in the face. That, to me, I was like, dang. And I was like, then what is your standard? He's like, I don't know about everybody else, but for me, from the beginning of the season, it's been playoffs. He didn't say play-in. Playoffs.
Yeah.
Playoffs. That's what I'm saying. The growth of this team, man. The growth of this team, especially underneath J.B. Bickerstaff and the work that we know these players are putting in, man. Like, think about it. Even before Jaden Ivey went down. Yeah. Like, I'm just like, you know what? Keep it going. Point Asar. We didn't call him out. Point Asar.
I love Asar. I've been screaming that.
Man.
Him in this starting lineup has been really, really good.
Said the usage rate is all he needs. He's the perfect player to put next to a Cade Cunningham because, you know what? He can play support. Okay, Cunningham's not in tonight. Okay, cool. I can go back to doing what I was doing with Overtime Elite. That was what? Point Asar.
Yeah.
It's not like he's a stranger to what we saw. But to see these guys actually making the step, we're all talking about just young players right now.
Yeah.
And Cade is still young. It's just like, these guys are impressing me from the coaching staff down to what the players are doing, and they aren't satisfied.
Yep. And I gotta point Asar. I think that other than being super physical with the 76ers and Malik Beasley's onslaught, I think point Asar was the thing that we were all the most excited about other than that, and maybe the most excited about, period, because it was working. That offense was flowing smoothly like the Mississippi River. And I got to give credit to somebody who has had some questionable takes, and I've called him out for it. In my opinion, questionable takes. We're all entitled. Wheezy D313.
Hey.
Here we go.
Shout out Wheezy.
Loved Point Asar. His brother ain't better. He just get all the usage. You know what, Wheezy? I agree. Fair.
It's fair.
You guys were a little bit earlier to the party than me. I thought it was a little bit disrespectful, at least up until now, to call Asar as good as Amen. But at the same time, Asar, you see what he can be when he gets all of the usage. And we have to remember, too, he was coming back from a blood clot. He got eased in. So now we're really seeing not the totality of his skill set, because he's only going to get better because he's so young, but just his impact on games. It's prolific. And Asar Thompson, he deserves a ton of credit. I mean, even if it's just for that one game, and I'm not saying it's been way more than that one game, but seeing a skill set that some of us didn't even necessarily know that he had to that level was a 100% revelation. I know people like Wheezy and you, Kool-Aid, were a little bit earlier to the party, but consider me arrived at the party.
Well, my opinion was, honestly, it was influenced because of some connections and sources we got at the network that know them personally, played with them, know their work habits, know their workout habits. What was the one thing that we knew there was a difference between the two of them? Both of them work out, but only one of them was considered a gym rat. Both of them were really good, but only one of them was the actual facilitator on the team. That didn't mean that Asar could not go out and be a scorer, but he was a facilitating gym rat. I promise you, just from if I'm a coach or if I'm a guy who wants to play on a connected team like WUW Crew is, I want that guy on my squad. No diss to Amon, who can do it all too. He's great too. No slight at him. But just the things that I liked out of Asar Thompson, I saw fully on display. And his ability to be effective, whether he's getting the usage rate or not, is what attracted me to Asar Thompson, the player, a little bit more than Amon, who I think he thrives in when the usage is high. Defensively, those guys are going to do what they do throughout the entire game. But I just like Asar Thompson a little bit more outside of those other situations. And you see it on full display every single game. And then you get to see exactly the full ceiling of a type of player he can be when Cade Cunningham isn't there and he steps into that role, and it looks like he's back at overtime elite running the break.
Yeah. I tell you what, if he become the two-way player that I think that he can become,
hey bro, just say he's
my
becoming.
God.
Just
yeah,
say
well,
it.
yeah,
Just say
yeah.
it.
We'll say it. Yeah, he's becoming that player. Because I mean, it's amazing, man. The fact that he's going out there and he can get his own bucket now. Because I think that was the biggest thing in the Amon in his game is that Amon is a little more well-rounded offensively. He can go out there and get his own bucket. But now that we're seeing that out of Asar Thompson, combined with the fact that you can deploy him to defend 1 through 5, combined with the fact that he's actually a pretty good playmaker, man, I love this draft pick. I love how he's coming along right now. And that's just the great thing about JB Bickerstaff is you're actually seeing the development in real time. And it's so beautiful to see. That's why I was so glad he wasn't, happy about last night. Yeah, it's cool we got the win, but when you have a young team like that, you have to stay on them and have them learn these lessons even in wins, because there's lessons to take even in wins. So, man, shout out to them, man. They balling right now.
And you know what we saw, too? We talk about wanting to see Schroeder and Cade Cunningham minutes, and we got to see that. Guys, how sexy were the Ron Holland and Asar Thompson minutes? Defensively, they were on it. They were getting into the passing lane. That is when you talk about future, that to me is the future type stuff right there. And you can play them together because they realistically are both very, very versatile players. Asar can realistically play the 1 through the 5. Asar Thompson can realistically play the 1 through the 3. He can, in pinches, try and play the 4, but he got to get the weight up a little bit.
Right.
But to see the progress that he's making, to see the confidence that he has, to see it was a question that we pondered when Dalton was there, and they went with Holland. But then we brought it back down, and the question that we asked and immediately agreed with was this: if it's just the three-point shooting that we got away for Ron Holland, is he a hell of a player? And we said, you know what? He is. Defensively, he was able to also, on the offensive side of the ball, handle a high usage. And so it's like to be able to shout out and see how they're able to win with the vets, but also these young players taking that step forward, man. Goodness gracious, it's good to see, and that's what I believe is going to bolster this team in the second half.
Yeah, obviously I had some well-known issues with the Ron Holland pick at first, but in my defense, I didn't know that the Pistons and Trajan Langdon would address a lot of the shooting needs with veterans, and Malik Beasley has been an absolute revelation, but I should have tempered my reaction. I will give you that, because Ron Holland, what he's provided to this team in terms of impact defensively and with athleticism, you can't really put a price on that. I think he could potentially give some teams some issues come playoff time if he's in the playoff rotation.
And just so you guys do know, Troy Weaver is the one that had Ron Holland #1 on his draft board, per some sources, some direct sources. It was Troy that actually got that rolling, but Trajan Langdon was like,
shout out.
Trajan Langdon was like, oh, I do too, though.
So
he did too. So he came in and was like, look, this is the pick. And it's interesting to see in those NBA worlds how they actually think about Ron Holland and his coach. Yeah. Shout out one of his trainers, Coach Jay. Rank Management, connected with Ashton and Cannon, those guys. They've come to the studio. They've supported. Got to link up with him out at Summer League and everything. He said it. He believed that he just needed this type of training. this type of training, like not just focusing on everything else he was before with school and family, work, and life and all of that.
Yeah.
But now he gets the opportunity to just focus on building up strength, shooting, and then doing the things that you already do good. And we see it working out for him.
Him not in the Rising Stars game is a fucking crime. I just want to state that.
Hey,
for the
look,
record.
bro,
Go ahead,
talk to
Stick.
his
My
pops
bad.
about it.
No, it's fine. Just while we're stroking everybody on the roster, just wanted to throw Isaiah Stewart.
Yes,
I
yes,
mean, like,
Stewart,
you know
we
what?
posted
Yes.
a quote on our social media about him saying defense. I love defense.
Yeah.
So much better than last year with Monty Williams. I'm Isaiah Stewart. I'm going to start shooting three-pointers. I'm going to hang out in the corner and be your spot-up three-point shooter.
Yeah.
Like, if that's not a microcosm for you putting a square peg in a round hole and Monty Williams not knowing what the fuck he's doing with the people that he has on his team,
gosh.
Isaiah Stewart coming out and saying that, like, I love defense. That's all you should have ever done when you got in this league, dude. You should have been Ben Wallace 2.0, and that's how we dealt with it. If you can make a shot, cool, but I don't need that out of you. Him trying to learn to shoot three-pointers was the worst coaching decision I've ever seen in my life. But to his credit, he's like, all right, you want to learn to shoot three-pointers? All right, I'll go shoot fucking three-pointers.
And I'm
like,
okay with him learning to be
Yeah, I don't
serviceable.
think it's the worst decision.
But the way they
what?
use
It shouldn't-
what?
but-
No. The parts.
Hold on, Stick.
was he ever going to be your go-to
No,
guy?
but that wasn't the point, Stick.
No. It's where Stick is right is this. They still have him working on three-point shooting. in
Yeah,
the thing,
like-
but the amount of attempts last year, it was like 6. There were times where he was
Exactly,
taking 3 in
that's
the
the
first
point.
quarter.
Right.
You
You
were
shouldn't
removing
rely on
your
that.
paint defender and your paint rebounder from the paint.
And what have I been saying?
Why?
What have I been saying the last 3 years? And to Woodward Pistons OGs, y'all know this. I've been saying just let him be your paint defensive version of Corliss Williamson. We knew when Corliss was in there, he was a Tasmanian devil on offense.
Yeah.
It's over for whoever's defending him. It didn't matter if it was a bigger defender, a smaller defender, medium size. It was Corliss going to work in the paint. He was the big nasty. But I believe that Isaiah Stewart, thank you for teeing this up, Stick, was the same type of player from a defensive side. Just let him be a Tasmanian devil in the paint. Let him go in there and just wreak havoc. Who wants to continue to contend with him? Now all of a sudden you're taking your bruiser out of the middle.
Yeah.
Now all of a sudden teams can get comfortable in the middle. And what did they look last year? The first 2 or 3 games of the season, when they were being bruisers in the paint, that's when we saw them look their best, sadly, out of all of last season. Then they started having them be perimeter stew, and the physicality and how comfortable players were, guards just skipping all through the lane and just whoop-de-doo layups and such. Do you understand how many times they were able to come in, rest their star, and some backup guard went off on us? I was puking, bro. Desmond Bane, he owned us.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. It's like this year, though, they're playing so much more physical, and I do believe some of that starts with putting Stu in the paint, because how is Jalen Duren going to learn from your longest tenured Detroit Piston if you're not even having him in the paint? What's Jalen Duren going to learn?
That's real.
I'm just like, man, that's a good point, Stick.
Hey, Kool-Aid. that technical foul that Stu got last. No, that was so funny. I already knew you had a reaction to it. They said, okay, the contact was unintentional, but because the foul was, I guess, so egregious, they had to call something. I had never heard that ever. So I knew you had a reaction to it. It was hilarious, man.
Bro, have mercy.
I was
These
listening
refs,
to
dog.
Lindsay. I was driving around going to
Shout
the
out
store,
to
picking up
Legend
stuff
Lindsay.
from the store. And, man, Lindsay was going crazy on the play-by-play. So shout out to Lindsay, man, on the radio broadcast.
None of us know what it is. They were like, it was unintentional. It was a basketball play. This is what happens. But we just feel like we want to give him a technical. What? We don't want to give him a flagrant.
Crazy.
We don't want to throw him out the game, and they knew if he got a flagrant, guess what? He's suspended for the next game.
Right.
So,
and it would have been outrage because it didn't warrant that.
But a technical, do you know how many times I see Cade get hit after plays?
Yeah.
Do you know how many times I see the incidental stuff and Cade is sitting there? Remember there was a time when Cade was just bleeding all down his mouth and there was no call. There was nobody who wanted to go and replay anything and say, you know what, we just want to be able to tackle on the technical just to do it. The fact that this happened to the Pistons, I'm starting to get to the point where I'm like, you know what? It's almost a Kirby Joseph effect. You guys are pissing people off. They are. They're playing physical brand of basketball, and you've heard some of the other teams pop up. Oh, they think that that's what they are, but that's us. That's us.
Right.
I don't hear the Indiana Pacers step to the podium and talk that greasy, except for after they play the Pistons, and they're invoking this out of these other teams. And I think J.B. Bickerstaff wants to smoke.
Yeah,
he
you do.
put his team, bro. He put his team right there on the target. And said, yeah, you know, if this what the Pacers want, this what it is, man. They want to talk like this. They didn't do that when we beat them, you know.
Right.
And they building, and then the next 2 games, you know what? His team got popped, and J.B. Bickerstaff was able to use that as a teaching moment, but also to say, no, quit making me look bad.
Right.
I said they were better than the Pacers. J.B. Bickerstaff stepped to the podium and said it, and then he got popped. And I see this guy still saying no. And the wins and then the losses, raise your level of standard, man.
Yeah.
Raise where you're going to be at. And I see that out of this team this year, man. It's a beautiful thing to see and to cover.
Yeah. Weezy, once again, I've never hated on Beef Stew. The only thing that I ever said was that he was undersized and that could affect his game. But clearly I was wrong about that. So, I've never said anything negative about Beef Stew.
And honestly, just one more thing to wrap a bow on this when it comes to players who we need to give credit to. Yes, it's clear that I was too reactionary when it comes to Ron Holland, and it looks like I'm going to be proven to be wrong. However, here's what I will say. I think
it happens,
the roster construction, more specifically somebody like Malik Beasley, has allowed somebody like Ron Holland to play more his game instead of needing him to be the shooter that he's not yet. Same with Asar Thompson, and heck, even same with Isaiah Stewart. I agree with you, KG. I'm not mad at them because Isaiah Stewart wasn't a bad three-point shooter last year. They needed somebody, but at the same time,
you can't rely on that though.
100%.
Yeah,
I do.
6 attempts.
That's crazy.
I do agree though that even though his counting stats, well, they're not counting stats. Their counting stats don't look like they were last year. His impact is much greater in a role that he is almost his instinct dictates that he should play because he just has that instinct.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you know what? Shout out to the Pistons. You got 2 more games before All-Star break, and it's against the Bulls, the lowly Bulls, in their home. It's a back-to-back. You got to go out there and just straight up punch them. Warren Feldman. Just punch him in the face. Punch him in the face. That's all I can say, man. Just go out there and punch him in the face. But shout out to the Pistons. They still stay in that 6th place, 6th seed right now. They are 27-26 on the season right now with opportunity to go into All-Star break 29-26.
Told you, even if it's a game, they'll be above 500 at All-Star break.
That's what I wanted, man. And
even if it's one game.
There is no chance they're getting swept by the Bulls. So I agree. They're gonna be at least one game over 500. Honestly, if I were to make a prediction, I do think they probably split because something tells me that a Kobe White or a Vucevic just go off game happens. But I could be wrong.
That's last year's Pistons, and if we want to see this team be different, that's where I'm like, you know what? You go out there and pop them.
That's why I think it's more likely that it's Vucevic than Kobe White. But we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah. You know what, man? Hey, let's get a like poll going as well. And we got to get into the next segment, say what up, though, to some friends. And then we got to we gotta take care of some business, I think, too, if you don't mind me hijacking things real quick.
Absolutely.
So what friends do we got to say what up, though, to?
KG, you want to do merch?
Merch. Y'all know what it is, man. WoodwardSports.com. Click that shop tab and listen, man. We got everything that you need to get right for all your Detroit sports teams. Y'all see the Tiger sweatshirt up there. Pretty nice, man. It'd be nice if we could put Alex Bregman in one of those. But nonetheless, you got the Let's effing go Red Wing shirt. And we going to get some Pistons stuff, man. It is time for us to get some updated Pistons merch in the store. But we also stick still on that BS, but it's all good. Hey, but we got all the Lions gear that you need to. WoodwardSports.com. Click that shop tab today.
Today's.
How do people feel about getting a Planet Fitness membership for $15 a month? How do they like working out in a clean and spacious gym that's filled with equipment for every workout? And how about free fitness training in the judgment-free zone that leaves them feeling energized all day long? Join Planet Fitness today with the free PF app, online or in club, and start getting that big fitness energy for $15 a month.
Big injuries, big news. Twice a week, Dr. Jeff Pierce from Michigan Sports and Spine joins Woodward Sports Network for the Injury Insider Report. Big D Energy Tuesdays at noon, and Ermanni and Edwards with Maz Thursdays at 3:30. Get expert analysis and in-depth breakdowns on the latest sports injuries from the man trusted by top athletes in the community, like D-Mac. Whether it's the Lions, Pistons, Tigers, or Red Wings, Dr. Pierce talks us through it all. Don't miss the Injury Insider Report with Dr. Jeff Pierce, your go-to source for understanding the impact of injuries on the games and players we love. Only on Woodward Sports Network. Scan the QR code on the screen or go to MichiganSportsandSpine.com to see if Dr. Jeff Pierce can help you.
Feldman Chevrolet, Michigan's #1 Chevy dealer, is kicking off the game with the best prices on all cars, trucks, and SUVs, like this 2024 Silverado for just $296 a month, or this 2025 Equinox for as low as $371 a month. Our locations in Novi, Highland, New Hudson, Livonia, and Lansing means we have the perfect Chevy right in your backyard. Get the home team advantage every day at Feldman Chevrolet, Michigan's #1 Chevy dealer.
The most talked about Detroit media by other Detroit media, and we love it. It's the Woodward Sports Network.
Yo, here to tell y'all about New Holland, one of our great sponsors here at the network, and they latest and greatest drink, the Tangerine Space Machine, and it is the official beer of outer space. And let me tell you why, man. It's smooth, juicy, pause, got all the refreshing things that you need in a good IPA. And listen, man, it's brewed right here in the great state of Michigan, so why not support New Holland Brewing Company, that Tangerine Space Machine?
What up, though, people? Welcome back. It is Wake Up Woodward, live from Feldman Chevrolet of Novi, Michigan's #1 Chevy dealership. And you know what, man? I'm looking at these Pistons colored vets back here, and it's so appropriate. Couple nice wins over this weekend. And you know what? Chuck Brewer, Atlanta's Trae Young has replaced Giannis Antetokounmpo in the 2025 NBA All-Star Game. Woodward Sports will have boots in the ground. We will have credential coverage from the NBA All-Star Game out in the Bay, and I cannot wait. We're going to get a couple streams lined up as well with the WUW Crew and have some fun out there, man. Have some fun. But I think we got are we ready, 1KG?
I think.
You think
Let's
we
see.
are?
I don't even know what's about to happen.
All right.
Hey,
I'm sorry, Flannel.
Our distinguished guests, are you on the line?
Hey, what up, though, everybody?
Hey. Who is this we're speaking to?
Hey, this is Kermie Felt 313.
Oh,
what's up, Kirby Phil?
I thought you weren't watching sports right now, Freddie. I thought you were done. I thought you were taking your time off, Freddie. Okay, fine. Go ahead.
Shout out to the fam.
Did you really think I was going to miss mustard?
All right. Fair enough.
Oh, this is gold.
Shout out to
Hey, Muppets acting bad, but somebody got to do it.
Hey, tell them.
Talk your talk, Freddie.
Hey, I'm here. I'm here in Cancun. I just wanted to say I'm sorry, Flannel. I'm sorry I let you down. I'm sorry I let down all of the We're Witnessing Greatness sports takes and all the fans that said we're witnessing greatness. I let you down. And especially after Neil Rule said I'm better than MJ, I let Neil Rule down.
Yeah, and for the record, I didn't get a chance to respond to that. I thought Neil was a little bit overboard based off of Patrick Mahomes' last 2 regular seasons. So all I ask is that you guys in the chat don't Neil bot. Give it to him too. That's all I ask.
Give it to him too.
Pause.
Exactly. El Presidente can get the smoke too.
Yes.
Oh, goodness. Freddie Feldman, 313, of the famed Woodward Sports Chat and WUW Crew Chat family member, man. He hit me up last night. He's like, bro, y'all got the lines? I was like, bro, we're out on remote, or else we probably would have some phone lines open. But I was like, I think KG can cook something up. I knew Stick was going to have some of the equipment here, so we had to get you on the line. What up, though, Freddie Felt, 313, man?
Hey, he's here, but it's still Kermie Felt 313. I'll let him speak in a minute. But, I'm sorry, who else I let down? It's Tom Brady. I was supposed to be better than him. And, it's not easy being green.
Flannel's taking it in stride, too, man.
Yeah. It's all good.
Yeah, no. Kermit left. He and Miss Piggy had to go do a double date with Taylor and Travis, so they had to go run off somewhere.
Bro, the ass whooping was bad. They showed Taylor Swift one time, the whole Super Bowl. Bro. One time.
She had the Macaulay Culkin Home Alone face in her suite.
Right.
Yeah, I love to see it. No, yeah, I mean, Kendrick was the reason for the season, so, I had to get the snacks on deck and just breathe for my break. But as you know, I am on break. That was it. That was my one, cheat. Like when you're on a diet, you get a cheat meal. That was my cheat. That was my cheat.
Oh man! Shout out to Freddie Feld.
Shout out Freddie, man.
Shout out to Freddie Feld family. Anything else that you have to say to him, Flannel Sam? Anything in response?
No,
this is one of those. We how do I say this? We take it in stride. Pause.
No, we take it in stride. I've got absolutely no defense over what happened on the field last night because if I tried to, I would look like an idiot. All I'm saying is that there are going to be a lot of wild overreactions in terms of his career coming up, and I'm here for it. I'm going to have to live in it for a while, but hopefully by off-season's time, we're just laser focused on the Lions and ready for the draft and next season.
I am so ready for that, and I know that especially on this show and with socials, that's the way things are going to trend with the coverage, and I can't wait because it's just now the Super Bowl's over. Let's get to next season. Everybody starts with an 0-0 record. And I like our dogs better than everybody else's dogs. Just go get one more in Myles Garrett. But shout out to Freddie Felt, man, chat family member, Freddie Felt 303. Shout out KG, helping pull this off too, man. But let's say what up, though, to some friends. We got a couple minutes here, I guess, to get into this Feldman Mailbag segment as well.
Absolutely.
So get your Feldman Mailbag questions in. What friends you want to say what up, though, to one JB Smooth?
Speaking of Feldman.
Hey, Feldman Chevrolet, Detroit's #1 Chevy dealer. They've been around since 1996, and they have been the Feldman Chevrolet dealer, the Chevrolet dealer of the year in total from 2019 to 2023, and they're hoping for a 6-peat in 2024.
Wow,
something the
6-peat.
Something the Chiefs
So
weren't
they're
able to do.
definitely better than MJ and Tom Brady.
100%.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, they got me a car, and I will always be grateful to them for that. After my car broke down on the way to a Michigan-Ohio State basketball game, but I didn't need to see that ish anyway. Juwan Howard was the coach, and now I'm thankful we got Dusty May. But anywho,
shout out
Feldman.
Michigan State.
He ain't going
shout out
nowhere.
Michigan State.
He ain't going nowhere. He beat the allegations.
10-2. Both are 10-2 in conference. They got a showdown coming up soon. It's going to be a fun college basketball season. But anywho, this is about Feldman. It's Feldman Chevrolet, Detroit's #1 Chevy dealer.
Hey.
Feldman Chevrolet, Michigan's #1 Chevy dealer, is kicking off the game with the best prices on all cars, trucks, and SUVs, like this 2024 Silverado for just $296 a month, or this 2025 Equinox for as low as $371 a month. Our locations in Novi, Highland, New Hudson, Livonia, and Lansing means we have the perfect Chevy right in your backyard. Get the home team advantage every day at Feldman Chevrolet, Michigan's #1 Chevy dealer.
Big injuries, big news. Twice a week, Dr. Jeff Pierce from Michigan Sports and Spine joins Woodward Sports Network for the Injury Insider Report. Big D Energy Tuesdays at noon, and Ermanni and Edwards with Maz Thursdays at 3:30. Get expert analysis and in-depth breakdowns on the latest sports injuries from the man trusted by top athletes in the community, like D-Mac. Whether it's the Lions, Pistons, Tigers, or Red Wings, Dr. Pierce talks us through it all. Don't miss the Injury Insider Report with Dr. Jeff Pierce, your go-to source for understanding the impact of injuries on the games and players we love. Only on Woodward Sports Network. Scan the QR code on the screen or go to MichiganSportsandSpine.com to see if Dr. Jeff Pierce can help you.
Walk into any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men today. Open 7 days a week. Sit back, relax, and enjoy precision haircut, scalp massage, hot leather neck shave, and hot towel treatment from one of our talented stylists. Step up your game this season and take advantage of our $20 haircut special. Scan the QR code and get your coupon today. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, the ultimate haircut experience. Open 7 days a week. Walk-ins always welcome. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, it's wicked awesome.
Head to WoodwardSports.com and click on Shop. Get the latest in Detroit sports apparel and exclusive Woodward sports gear. WoodwardSports.com can get the whole team outfitted. Love the Pistons, Red Wings, and Tigers? We got something for you, too. Shop online at WoodwardSports.com.
Hey, what up, though, people? Welcome back to Wake Up Woodward. We are live from Feldman Chevrolet of Novi. It is Michigan's #1 Chevy dealership, and we've had a good show, man. We talked about the Super Bowl, and you know what? We talked about the defensive line and what do the Detroit Lions need to do to ensure that they can take advantage of their Super Bowl window. That defensive line was fierce, man, from the Philadelphia Eagles. We broke down the Detroit Pistons, couple big victories, but they still aren't satisfied. This feels like Thanksgiving when you eat that first plate, but then you're like, nope, I need another plate. Yeah. And then you still go get that third plate, even though you know you're not going to finish it. That's the type of non-satisfaction that I love the Pistons having right now, even after back-to-back wins, even after exceeding expectations. They're closing in right now on effectively, I think, 31 wins over the last, 2 years. They're closing in on 31 wins. That they can get that pretty soon. They already have 27. They've won 31 combined in the 2 previous years. So and they're not satisfied, though.
Nope, they're not satisfied.
35 looking pretty good, man.
Oh yeah. Whoever put that bet in is a
Spinny did. Shout out Spinny.
Yeah.
He put his money on it, but I told y'all 35, man.
35. Yep.
All right. Hey, let's go. Proud Cheer Dad. Mailbag. What does playing the 1 through the 5 mean? That's all 5 positions: the point guard, shooting guard, small forward, power forward, and the center. And that, I think, was a question in relation to when we were talking about Asar Thompson and his ability to play the 1 through the 5. In small ball positions, they will put him sometimes as a small ball 5 in a pinch, especially in between, like, quick substitutions and such. Like, they'll be getting another big in as well. But it's interesting to see how the effect Ron Holland's able to have playing such a versatile role.
Yeah. Good question, because there was a time in my life where I heard people say it, and I'm like, what does that mean? It's like common basketball vernacular, but if you don't know, speak up.
And when you got a player that can do that, that's very valuable to a team. You have a player that can defend 1 through 5.
Yep, definitely. And Ryan's reaction with the $4.99 super chat. I remember when WSN had a whole say Jalen Hurts won't be in the league in 2024.
Damn.
Chill on my guy.
How long ago was that, though?
That was
because at a certain point I could kind of understand that take. At a certain point in his career,
I want to say that was probably before the 2021 season, if my memory serves. But
it was shaky at first. That's what makes his story, a little bit compelling, because they did not believe in him at first.
No, they didn't.
Yeah, they were seriously thinking about getting a quarterback. Then they made that first Super Bowl. They ended up losing. But shout out to him. Hey, that Jordan ad was fire too, man. I thought that was pretty well done. The Love Hurts promo. That was pretty fire.
Yeah. What up, though, JB?
No, I was just saying I enjoyed that commercial as well, too.
Yeah.
I like, as immediately after the Super Bowl, all right, just drop it. And it was just like, all right, this is perfect timing.
I like that. I see Pat D in the chat, though. He didn't like the Super Bowl commercials. He said he didn't like them. He said, I don't like them no more. These people want to put us to sleep. Drunk commercial. Yeah, go Pepsi.
Yeah, they had Seal as a Seal, and I don't know how.
That was hilarious.
I don't know how I feel about that as a black person. I ain't gonna hold you. He looked crazy,
hey, bro.
Look, here comes Stick.
This is what got Stick hot.
If Seal as a Seal isn't the next halftime show, I don't want to fucking hear it.
Seal
as a Seal,
bro.
Like those 3 commercials
Seal
back to
looked
back.
crazy
Seal as a
on that
Seal,
fucking
what was it?
commercial, bro.
Uber
It looked
Eats?
weird. You're right, bro. Seal looked crazy, dog.
No, it was the Uber Eats where they had like everybody in the history of the world, like. Was it Matthew McConaughey? And then they had you didn't like Seal as a Seal?
No, bro. I don't know how to feel about that.
Go back and watch the watch party,
that shit
and I was
crazy.
dying. I was dying. That's culture.
It looked like some mammy stuff.
That's culture right there. No, you do that. Seal as a Seal was next level. Mountain Dew,
man. Seal out here for the check. I ain't mad
what
at
else
him.
is he? His name's fucking
hey,
Seal.
listen,
What else
man.
is he gonna do? Just glad it wasn't like a giraffe or something.
Listen, man. The commercials.
Dude, Kiss from a Rose buys you a lifetime of credentials. A lifetime if you put out Kiss from a Rose.
And I told my wife, too, I was like, you know what, man? He just wanted to you know what? My name ain't out there right now. I know I could do this, and it's going to be everywhere.
No,
it was brilliant.
And here's what you're missing, though.
Crazy.
Like, somebody had to call him with the idea. All he had to do was say yes.
I wonder how many years.
There was an executive for Mountain Dew. They had a brainstorm meeting, and someone was like, dude, you know what we should do?
I wonder who was in that meeting.
We should put Seal as a Seal. It was
how
me.
Many years
it was me.
How many years do you think he's rejected ideas like this?
Yeah, come on.
Never. No, because nobody's had a brilliant idea. That was brilliant.
I feel like he's probably
absolute brilliance.
rejected this for years, and now he's probably like, you know what? I can use the paycheck.
Dude, Seal as a Seal. What other artist can we do that? Jamie Foxx is a fox?
Yeah, you're right.
Like, let's do this.
Maybe that would have been a little more. That would have been a little better. In my opinion.
Jamie Foxx is a fox.
We got to keep
y'all got
it going.
Y'all got it. I understand. Just like the halftime show, I understand. I was satisfied as a fan, but if you didn't like it, I can also understand that.
Eminem as an Eminem?
There we go. Like, what are we doing? This is a subculture that we've been missing out on.
KG don't want no parts of it.
I'm just speaking for myself only. That shit look crazy
Sound like
to me.
Janet Durr. Look, I don't know about everybody else, but I got my own standards.
Right. That was so weak. That was so weak. Playing on that was some soft shit last night.
Look,
Sorry.
Steve DeYoung. Steve DeYoung. This is a good one. Hashtag Feldman Mailbag. I fully trust Holmes. However, outside of Hutch and McNeil, he must do better for that D-line. If we lose out on Garrett sweepstakes, who do you want him to draft in the first or second round?
Still talking?
What marketing department thought that was okay?
It's okay.
He had to sign off on it. Come on. He was like,
we know who signed off on that.
What is Seal's
is
speed
crazy.
off the edge as a Seal?
Man. Oh, man. Seal can have that one. We know what that was.
Flannel?
I'm just leave it at that.
I mean,
if you know, you know. I can't Kool-Aid it. I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry.
well, how do you not find this hilarious?
Oh, shit. Come on, dog.
And for me, it's how much is bothering KG.
This world's going to shit.
KG is so uncomfortable.
It's amazing. Come on.
Are you putting it on screen?
It's on the screen.
Marvel movie.
Right. Live from Wakanda, right?
I will say.
I bet it does. My bad. Film me, Bill, man.
You all right, cool?
Miss me with that one, dog. I'm good.
Oh, man, dog.
Oh, shit.
All right, let me read this again. I'm sorry, Steve. Steve DeYoung, hashtag Feldman Mailbag. This will be our last one. I fully trust Holes. However, outside of Hutch and McNeil, he must do better for the D-line. If we lose out on the Garrett sweepstakes, who do you want him to draft in the first or the second round? God, I just don't know.
I was about to say, I ask me again in a week or two.
Yeah, because right now I'm still kind of on the side of if there's still some type of player you can go and they will be ready more so day one to contribute to a Super Bowl run, let's go out there and do that. Mother fricker, KG, dog. Come on, man.
I'm sorry, bro.
Trying to talk to I'm like, all right, I got my composure.
Y'all still thinking about
I'm still laughing.
Ryan Lentz had KG as a seal.
Man.
Oh, my God.
That shit.
Ryan Lentz, KG as a seal.
That shit.
See, this is why AI was invented.
That was a
for
Dave
us to do
Chappelle
fun
skit.
stuff like this.
Seal as a
Hey,
seal is a
with the
Dave
dreads?
Chappelle skit.
with
with
the
the
dreads.
It's a Dave Chappelle skit, bro. I'm sorry.
We got to get out of here.
Is that Bobby Lashley?
Bobby
See what we doing? You see what we doing? You see what? Hey, man, you if you know, you know, bro.
Bro.
Let's get out of here.
Listen, Pat D says,
Is that Bobby Lashley?
Walrus hump with seal?
Oh, shit.
$4.99 super chat from Ryan's reaction. How much for your thumbnail artist to replace Seal's face with Kool-Aid?
Oh, my God.
Oh, here we go.
Hey, you know what? Let's get the super chats in, man. We're gonna have to set that goal or something tomorrow, man. Goodness, dog. Seal as a seal. Gosh, man, y'all made the commercial way more than it was to me last night.
Hey, Still I Rise, get it. Shout out my boy.
They saying James though says someone get on it. KG is a walrus.
You can have it, bro.
Goodness gracious. All right, we got to get out of here. Woodward Sports, please make this happen. Why do the people want this? Goodness gracious. We got to get out of here.
Well, commercials was
Listen, guys, it's your boy Brandon at Katie Troy Kool-Aid. We got Flannel Sam. We got the whole crew, man. I'm not even breaking down the normal way. We are live from Feldman Chevrolet of Novi, Michigan's #1 Chevy dealership, man.
Why do I do this job sometimes? Sometimes I wake up and wonder.
Shout out to the Godfather Stick in the building. Shout out to that dude Justin, Matthew Brother, Cavassier Chase, the WUW Crew. Hey, we got KG, Detroit's #1 draft pick, our resident seal. What up, dog? What up, dog, KG?
Hey, man. It is what it is, bro. Let's keep this shit rolling, man.
Yo,
keep it rolling, dog.
WUW Sports MVP on the TDs sticks today. What up, though, brother?
What's going on? I'm out.
Godfather Stick. Say what up, though, to the people real quick, man.
Seal as a seal.
It's hilarious.
Goodness gracious. We need to get them Jared Goff chants back, man. Because Seal as a Seal is taking over Sticks.
Right.
Seal as a seal.
Flannel, Sam, you talk about taking it with stride, Pulse.
Yeah.
Flannel said, man, great dude. Great overall show today, man. It was fire. Red Wings correspondent. Hey, all sports knower and Go Blue lover. What up, though, Flannel Sam?
Hey, I'll say this.
Why is this your profile picture right now?
Wow.
That's a dolphin stick. Yo, I'm like, they try to put all of us as seals and walruses now.
There is not a single thing on earth that I could care less about than this whole seal saga.
We know, Sam. Sorry.
We know.
So that's all I'll say.
Sat here perfectly like, when is this going to end?
Right.
It's all right.
What up, though, brother? Get your sign off.
Hey,
See?
do your seal.
See?
Bro, this show is hilarious, bro.
Do your
We've gone off the rails.
The craziest 4 personalities up here, bro.
We do.
This shit is wild.
We've gone off the rails.
Get your
This shit is wild.
get your seal love out there, and the off season starts today.
Is this
Go
supposed
on.
to be Kool-Aid? Like I don't even know. Like,
See Kool-Aid, see what they doing?
See this, dog. Hold on, man.
They saying this what you look like, bro.
Hold on, bro. They put it up on the screen.
it's up there now.
I gotta wait till it gets there. Y'all are wild.
We still in February. This is some bullshit.
Happy Black History Month, people. 28 days to the month. Hey, you know what, man?
Look how they portray you.
Let's see Ryan's reaction, dog. These people in the chat, man. Hey, if you haven't got the opportunity to chat family, smash that like button before you leave. Your support means everything to us, from the super chats to the likes to the comments to the live chat to being engaged and continuing to honestly take this ride with us, man. It's been one for Wake Up Woodward, and I can't wait until this next Lions season. And as Flannel said, I think you said it best, brother. Let's get this offseason started. I'm ready because we know what our Lions team is, and we got the dogs. Get healthy. They're going to be straight. It's your boy, Brandon Dent, a.k.a. Detroit Kool-Aid, your credential Pistons reporter and writer for the network. Have a day, y'all. It's been Wake Up Woodward.